Let's do this. Let's do this. We are now one round down into the Volkov and Cortez Acosta heavyweight fight, UFC 328. Hello, everyone. My name is Luke Thomas. It's currently 10:39 p.m. East Coast time here on May 9th, 2026. This is my official UFC 328 watch-along and then post-fight show. We're going to watch this fight. We're going to watch the co-main. We're going to watch the main. And then we're going to stay on this stream and then do a post-fight show. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Here we go. Oh, you know what? I'll get the round timer up. Sorry, man, I'm a little bit out of sorts. I'll get it caught up. Hang on. Oops, where is that? There we go. Let me get that caught up. It's a little slow. Almost. Not quite. Wait. Yeah, so. Okay. Tonight should be crazy. Card has been. It's been some good. It's been some good. It's been some bad. The card's been whatever. You know. Brady looked like he had incredible jiu-jitsu, but couldn't get the finish. We'll talk about that in the post-fight show. King Green beat the fuck out of Jeremy Stevens, which was, he did a great job. Jim Miller looked awesome. That was a cool one. That was a cool one for sure. And there's some other cool ones, There's been some dull ones there too. Anyway, first round, Cortez Acosta, good jab. A couple of combinations were pretty good. Volkov, you kind of imagine that the speed difference. Cortez Acosta might be Senor Barriga, but he's faster. It's just hard to close that distance. But in any event, welcome. Glad you're here. I will tell you that I don't know, for me on this card, some of the fights I'm really interested in, like the last one, it didn't go that super interestingly, but I was very interested on paper in that fight. That was a nice one too from Volkov. Anyway, and there was ones I just really wasn't interested in at all, and they didn't really deliver, so that was kind of expected. But I think as long as the main and the co-main, and really just the main, deliver, I think everyone's going to go home happy. It's not like it's been bad or anything. It's not been bad. It's just not been, the if you guys saw the traffic for the concurrent viewers for the presser for 328, even though it was it was like, are we more, what is this? What is this brought to you by? The taunting of child abuse or Islamophobia? I couldn't tell. But in any event, it did huge numbers. And then the weigh-in did huge numbers as well. So, Volkov with a left jab stuns him. I think for a guy who's heavy set, kind of flat on his feet, like he's not fleet of foot and is never gonna be. Volkov has really maximized his style. He has kind of built up the things he could be good at, That's a nice little change of pace. Like you see now Cortez Acosta has to blitz into range, which is just going to be a lot easier to see coming. Where's that jab he was throwing? He's trying to switch stance into everything. You got to back Volkov up so he's got nowhere to go first, and then you pour on that kind of offense. Oh! Ugh. Yeah, I think Volkov took this frame. Leg kick's all right. I don't mind that from Cortez Acosta. Brother, you got a pressure. There you go. This is better. Now you've got him backed up. Oh, you had him backed up. He jabbed his way off of it. Another good jab. That jab from Volkov is all right. Good leg kick. It's not like Volkov's got that one punch power, but he's got the kind to stun you with one shot for sure. Or the leg kick to really stomp out a level of mobility. Mm. If you want to get a question on the screen or a comment on the screen, if you'd be so kind as to fire something into the super chat, that'd be great. You don't have to. You could just hang out and chill, and I appreciate that just the same. But if you want to and you want to help out, it goes a long way. And I'll put your comment on the screen. I'm told that the Tate brothers are there, and they have their own security right next to the media row's position. I was informed of that by people who are in attendance. Oh, shit. Let me get the thing up. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of practice. I haven't done one of these in a while. I'll get it caught up. Don't worry. Oh, right on time. There we go. Good jab to the body from Cortez Acosta, but you got to follow that up, man. I can't believe how much Volkov is able to move in this one without the requisite pressure from Cortez Acosta. Like, dude, Cortez Acosta, I mean, he still might win this fight, right? That's a good jab. That's a good jab. Oh, for fuck's sake. Volkov saying he got poked in the eye. Let's see the replay. All right. Well, they're not going to hold it long anyway. Okay, so. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Put some pressure on this donk. He's feeling it. But why is he bringing his back to the fence? Dude, the nose of Volkov is open. What is Cortez Acosta doing? Sige, brother. Sige. Is he waiting to just have another big burst? You're letting him circle. Intercept him. That's a nice one from both. Oh, great jab. Great jab from Cortez Acosta. Where the fuck's that been? Oof. Oh, that was a nice blitz. A couple of those got through. Some good combinations there from Cortez Acosta. That left hook was nice. Volkov now. Oh, that was nice. Kind of sneaky little, almost like a shovel punch, like an up jab almost. Except it was the backhand. He attempts a takedown. Okay. I don't know what the point of that is, but all right. All right, turns him off the underhook. Good on the knee. That's good. Volkov in full counter-striking mode now, which makes him dangerous but also vulnerable. Like that was a good, well-timed right hand from Cortez Acosta. Nice jab. Nice jab from Volkov. Oh, home run right hand from Cortez Acosta misses. Volkov is good one too. He's you'll notice he's upping the tempo, and this is enabling him to kind of dictate and survive a little bit. Cortez Acosta is doing just a little too much waiting around. Here we go. Last 30 seconds. Let's see if we get a little bit of a burst here. Oh, yeah, we sure do. Cortez Acosta's on the gas. Oh, he's pointing down. He wants to slug it. All right. Oh, come on. Oh, oof. Oh, okay. Not bad. All right. Well done, everyone. That's probably Cortez Acosta 2 rounds to 1, but I guess it could go either way. I wasn't fully hardcore judging, so I'll leave it up to you. Scott, welcome to the party. Azerium says, call me crazy. Amasov Rakhmonov is one of the best technical fights we could get in UFC. Yes, I fully agree. Similar to Volk Islam 1, that may never happen. Dude, I said it on the MK show with Ray Longo and Chuck Mendenhall. Dude, fucking Yaroslav Amasov, the fight with him on the and Joel Alvarez on the prelims, that should have been the main card opener. I mean, shouts to Bobby Green. He did his thing. No hate at all. He looked great. But, like, Amasov is a beast, bro. He's awesome. And he got a little bit touched up on the feet by Alvarez, but in general, bro, he was dealing in that fight, especially on the ground, obviously. And man, that is such a great signing by UFC. Obviously, Bellator champion, but great signing. Holy shit. Azerium also says, after JDM Proches, you were so right. Winning the title is one thing. Regaining it is a whole other game. It makes what Pereira does look insane. Yeah, Pereira, like, almost, like, this is not right, obviously, but, like, he almost cheapens it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, well, how hard could it be? I mean, yeah, it's probably hard, right? It's hard, but this guy made it look easy. It's like, yeah, but I mean, this guy is a mutant. You know what I mean? Like, they don't, even guys who are fucking awesome can't do stuff like this, Very, very rarely. All right, here we go. I'm gonna guess, just a guess, 2 rounds to 1 for Cortez Acosta. We'll see. Here we go. $29-28 twice. 30-27. They gave it to Volkov. They gave Volkov all 3 rounds. It's a little on the surprising side, but all right. 29-28 seems to be fine, right? Damn, they didn't give. One of those judges didn't give Cortez Acosta a fucking thing. Is it me or is he getting booed? I can't turn it all the way up. I guess it's some World War II holiday in Russia, according to him. I mean, that's a result that UFC probably didn't want, right? Now they got to give Volkov a title shot, you know? I mean, they don't have to, but the likelihood that they might is high. Oh, apparently he's getting booed quite badly. I can't quite hear it because I have to keep the volume at a moderate pace, but or level, excuse me. All right, yo. We got to get the guy from the Chappelle Show. It's got the sign that's like, "Yo, wrap it up, B." You're talking a lot. All right, Joe's asking him, "Who would you like to fight?" Title shot. All right, fair enough. Boy, they didn't look at none of the footage on that fight. You notice that? I don't know how UFC handles it, but most promotions that I've ever worked for, and again, I've only called it at a very low level, it is not the same. But such that there are any similarities. Oh, there he is, Action Bronson. He's DM'd me a couple times. He seems like a nice fellow. There's Movsar, looking like the 1960s Paul McCartney. There's Josh Hokett, who it is so funny to me that people are like, oh, his gimmick doesn't work. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think his gimmick is interesting, right? But it quite obviously works. Like, what are we talking about? All troll culture has infected many things, including but not limited to MMA. Like MMA culture is, and this is in many sports. This is hardly exclusive to MMA, but MMA has it too. It's troll culture. Like troll culture, 1,000,000,000% works. It's how MMA YouTubers battle one another to gain clout, or what are they even debating? What are they even arguing about? Nothing. It doesn't matter. It's conflict, it's noise, it's attention, it's just banging pots and pans. Oh, Luke, it's not very entertaining. It doesn't need to be. If it is, there's another benefit that might go with it. Yes, that is true. But like, it's so weird to me. People are like, it doesn't work. I'm like, guys, it quite obviously fucking works. You can be like, oh, I don't like that it works, or I can't believe that it works, right? You're allowed to say those, or you can be like, I love it and I can see why it works too. You're allowed any interpretation, but the assessment that it's like failing to like do things for him is like, what? Like, it quite obviously is. Now again, that's not the only thing. Fighting like a beast against Derek Lewis, that's maybe doing the most of it in certain ways. But the guy is capturing attention. Oh, people are talking negatively about him. Do you think he cares? In fact, he's probably thrilled about it. He's probably thrilled when Sean Strickland's like, oh, this is too much even for me. It's just the craziest thing. Oh, this doesn't work. I'm sorry. Doesn't work on who? Book readers? Yeah, I mean, it might not work on book readers, but I mean, it's fucking working. Just the silliest argument. Anyway, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Oh, interestingly, one judge had the first round for Waldo, and another judge gave him the third. So he won. He didn't win it outright, but he at least won a round in two different rounds. He won two different rounds. Again, he didn't win it outright. He didn't get two of the three, but he at least got a nod, a vote in two different rounds. Yeah, that's MMA judging. It's 29-28 is justifiable. So what can you really say? You know what I mean? What can you really say? Anyway, yeah, the denial that like it's like people just don't want to admit like that kind of shit works, and again, not limited to MMA. Like all the places troll culture has taken root. This is a ton of different spaces, but like people just don't want to admit it works because the gimmick seems so cheap, because you look at it and you're like, it's not funny. Like there's no punchline, and it's not even a coherent bit. Like the bit itself changes in ways that don't even make sense. It's not Andy Kaufman, right? It's not that, but it doesn't need to be is the reality. It doesn't need to be. It just needs to be loud. It needs to be visible. It needs to be in your face. It needs to be unusual, memorable, some kind of way to be distinctive. And even if being distinctive by being unfunny and kind of weird or cringe, by hook or by crook, brother, that's the name of the game. He's playing it. He's playing it. He is absolutely playing that game the right way. That doesn't mean I love it or, oh, I should see more of this. No. But like, given what the audience and the sport will respond to, is he playing it? Is Josh Hokett playing it the right way? Of course he is. It's silly to suggest otherwise. 60% of the donks in the chat had Volkov winning. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I didn't watch the first round, like judging hardcore. You could certainly give Volkov the second. All he had to get was a toss-up round in either direction. I don't think it's not a crazy call at all. It's not a crazy call at all. All right, let's see what else you got here. What's up, Luke? Love from Canada. What's up, Canada? Who you got? The terrorist sympathizer or the misogynist edgelord loser? I know, dude. Rooting it for watching MMA fights these days is like trying to like take sides in the Middle East. It's like, I can't quite figure out who the good guy is here. You know, it's like, well, like one guy might be less bad than another. I don't know if any of these people are doctors with, without borders or something. All right, Carl, what's up, bro? What chance do you give Strickland? I'm at 35%. Man, I tell you what, this fight is actually quite intriguing from a technical level. We did tape study on my Substack about this, and you watch it, and like the reality is this, dude. The one thing I will say for sure about this main event is that I would be shocked if Khamzat didn't get like routine takedowns. Like I'd be very, very shocked at that. I'd be shocked if even if he does get it, that I'm not saying necessarily every time, but honestly, if he was routinely able to capture the back, that also would not surprise me. The thing that this is where, and again, on the feet, if for whatever reason Khamzat decides to slug it out, or, maybe Sean stuffs enough where they have to slug it out for, minutes at a time. That's its own little dynamic. But the point I wanted to make was Sean's ability to not so much stop the takedown, although that's pretty good, but it's not impenetrable. But his ability to be squirming underneath, to get to an elbow, to get to a hand, to build head height, to use the wall to prevent a full-on back take. He's very, very, very good at that. And it was kind of funny, right? We were watching the tape, and like everyone sort of treats like the Khamzat fight with DDP is interesting, right? Because what the tape shows is that he's clearly not trying to use the fence to take DDP down. Now, that at least early, that changes somewhat with the course of the fight, but at least early, he's turning the corner on those doubles in the center. I wonder if he might do that against Sean, because Sean's very, very good about doing that. So here's an unanswered question to me. What is Sean's ability to get up look like absent the fence? And we don't have there's a couple examples. We don't really have a great one. Most of them have the fence involved, which is kind of an interesting one. But that battle, like either Sean can win that battle enough to win the fight, or he cannot. But I think that the fight lives or dies for him right there. And again, he doesn't have to get up every time. Maybe he loses a round. Maybe he loses 2 rounds. Maybe he loses 3 rounds and he has to get a stoppage late. Like that's all possible too. But those are the fault lines. I saw a video with Dean Thomas and Chael Sonnen being like, a lot of fighters, he called it the informed, which is a little condescending, but he said that basically the informed people are coming down on Strickland. I will tell you that privately, I talked to 2 good MMA coaches this week, and I talked to one fighter who was in the UFC, and they all picked Strickland. And then you had Longo picking Strickland. So, people who know a lot about the game are picking Strickland. That doesn't make them right. That doesn't make their decision-making infallible. I realize that the odds makers do not see it that way. I think that, the likeliest outcome is that one way or the other, Chimaev gets the job done. It is also obviously conceivable that Chimaev could just blow the doors off of him. That is a possibility too. But to me, this is intriguing because it speaks to an uphill battle that Sean has to climb, but we think he actually might have the tools to give it a run. Conversely, in that fight that you look at between Chimaev and Usman, what you'll notice is he gets the back, and Usman is kind of sitting on his is like on his knees, but he has his hands on the mat in front of him. And Chimaev is kind of attached to his back, and he's trying to ground and pound him, and he can't because he's not rooted to the floor. So, like, for example, another adaptation that he made was he kind of like, I mean, he did take the back in certain cases, obviously, against DDP, but a lot of it was not. It was a lot of, trying to put himself in a position where he was more rooted to the ground. And again, I wonder what role that's going to play. The point I'm trying to make is people treat the DDP fight as some kind of like, oh, he was able to obtain some kind of position and then hold it without being able to do a subsequent job finishing it. And yes, he got the quick finish on Robert Whitaker with the jaw issue, but the Usman fight and the DDP fight to me feel very similar. Now, he didn't go back to the takedown as often, and the bout wasn't as long against Usman. But in that first round, what you notice is he like, is Khamzat able to get the takedown? Yes. Is Khamzat able to get the takedown and the back or some kind of advantageous ride that he's able to maintain for, long stretches of a bout? Obviously, yes. But to me, it's not actually fully answered. It's not really fully answered about how he deals with an opponent who can struggle the way that Sean can struggle. And it's not fully answered to me that his finishing there is as good as his reputation seems to be. He has done it, obviously. He's done it against a lot of guys, but higher up the food chain, it becomes much, much harder to do. All of this is kind of a roundabout way of saying this main event is super intriguing. It's a lot of different ways it can go. I think there's paths that are likelier than others, but you at least have to consider the ways in which this could go. And the bad blood certainly is been a little bit gross to watch. I'll just be honest. Your mileage may vary on that. Like, some of it has been so toxic as to be like too much. But on a technical level, it's a highly intriguing main event. Like, you guys know my views, man. The right guy should win. The one that was better, the one that trained hard. And whether you like that person or whether you don't, the sport is too unforgiving to like try and enjoy the sport through that. I mean, if you're a fan, that's different. But if you're covering this kind of thing, like, you got to remain as impassioned as possible. And honestly, I said it too on the live chat this week. If Strickland ends up winning this, dude, I mean, I said it like that would be a Hall of Fame worthy achievement to me. To like unexpectedly get the title, right? And then you lose it, and then you kind of like, oh well, he's kind of leveled off, and that was his one high water mark. And then to march down Fluffy and basically beat him, and then again positing that he wins this, that would be one of the most remarkable things you've ever seen. Like, that is just it shouldn't happen. Statistically speaking, it shouldn't happen. So if it does, you got to give the guy his props. Conversely, I think the challenge for Chimaev here is like a 205 audition. You not only are there bragging rights and you have to defend your title and everything, but if you want to go to 205, you got to show something here. And we all saw that weight cut. Weight cut didn't look too good for him, did it? All right, here comes Taira, I think. This commentating sucks. I don't know if you're talking about me or them, but if it's me, I'm sorry. What happens first? Trump dies or Miller retires? Jesus, that's a little morbid. It might be Trump dies, actually, honestly. What's up, my man? Thank you for this. Look at this. Just gifting 20 of them bitches. Go get them if you haven't already. What's up, LT? Donkstream is live. Vapes, Sprite, and ginger ale, 0 sugar, and gummies all locked and loaded. Watching my favorite donk it up. Much love, my brother. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it and all your continued support. Thoughts on Amasov Alvarez? I'll talk a little bit about it. I kind of did already. Amasov's a beast. He's a beast. That mat return he had in the second round. Did you see the amplitude on that fucking mat return? Dude, he slammed him hard. I mean, the height he pulled him to was ridiculous. Main takeaway so far is Amasov versus Brady, please. Oh, that's a great fight. I don't know if Brady would take it, but that's a great fight. A great fight. Love that. Been watching since the original live chat, and LT is pissed. Thanks for being you and my half Lebanese brethren. Let's go. Let's go. Where's KOB and Marissa? Marissa is like a VP at SiriusXM now. I talk to her occasionally. And KOB is producing, I think, Busted Open or some other programming on Sirius. I think he's still at SiriusXM. Volkov is so boring. He can be. Oriel, welcome. Well, not welcome. I've been here a long time. I want to tell Luke those glass frames might be too big, but I don't want to get blocked. You're not blocked for this. I don't block people for shit like this. I block people for shit like, what would be the great example? Like, oh, you got to be non-binary to like that fight. Like, okay. I mean, you're obviously awful at Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? All right. Could Prochaz's style versus JDM work against Ilya or Van? Wait, what? Could Prochaz's style versus JDM work against Ilya, who's in a different weight class, or Van, who's 125? I don't understand that one at all. Please forgive me. Thoughts on Yaroslav Amaslav's performance? The old Brian Campbell special? Yeah, it was great. It was fucking great. We'll talk about it in the post-fight show. NFL buys out the UFC health insurance and seasons. Yeah, I wouldn't wait on that. I don't think that's happening anytime soon. I got to tell you. Shout out to Jim Miller. What a win. Yes, indeed. That was a nice guillotine off the transition. Could end his UFC career with 50 fights and 30 wins. Absolutely bonkers achievement. A true Iron Man kind of special. There have been Iron Men in MMA before, like a Travis View. You guys know who Travis View is? Look up his record. Now, View is spelled, I don't know why it's pronounced this way. It's Dutch or it's German. I'm not sure. But he's American. But, I don't know where that name is from origin. It's spelled Wiuff. Travis View. Fought in the UFC, actually. Big dude. I think it was like a 205. I think he fought at heavyweight a bunch, too. He has over Travis Fulton's the other one. So it's Travis View and Travis Fulton. These guys both had well over 100 fights, but they were like journeymen, and they could, they weren't always journeymen. Certainly in the case of Travis View, he was not always a journeyman. Like I said, he fought in UFC back in the day, and he had good submissions and stuff. But it was always guys kind of like that, like these Ronin who were, they were respectable but beatable for anybody good. And to get a guy like Jim Miller, I mean, he's not fighting 100 times, but to fight 50 times in the UFC is, I mean, that's like 200 regional fights. That's insane. All right, here comes Josh Van. 30-27 is an insane scorecard. No way Volkov won round 3. Yeah, 30-27 seems aggressive, but 29-28 does not. I haven't watched UFC in 3 years because of all their constant Trump rim jobbing. It hasn't gotten any better. It's all corny and honestly gay. That's the sport now. People get mad when you say it. Like, hey, this is the sport now. But that's what it is. Luke, big fan of your work. Thank you. I graduated in December with my associate's degree and marketing degree associate's media and marketing degree, pursuing my bachelor's. Do you have any advice? Keep going. Get that fucking bachelor's, brother. You're going to need it. I don't know how much benefit it's going to confer in the future, but probably better to have it than not. I hate how much this main event intrigues me because personally they could not be more of a turnoff, but I can set that aside for 25 minutes. Yeah, it's kind of a great description of it. Like it is, there is something to be said for this fight. It's more than just Jerry Springer-esque heat. You know what I mean? There is that, obviously, and that's a component. That's part of the fight, too. But that's not it's not correct to say, oh, that's what's really powering this. It's like, no, that's pretty interesting, actually. Oddly, I feel like Taira runs through Van, but then I feel like Strickland will beat Khamzat. Not completely logical, mainly just a feeling. Yes, I've seen this from people. Like, I think I put up a poll to this effect. They'll say things like, oh, Van is gonna Tyra's just gonna take the back and choke him out, which by the way, this is not an unfair thing to consider. Again, we're about to see what's gonna happen, but like Taira, I know Moreno is a little bit washed, but like if you look at the tape on Van, and maybe this will be different tonight, but the tape on him is that he'll give up the takedown and it kind of takes him a while to get up, and a lot of times he'll use the guard to get up. You do that against Taira, that will probably go bad. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Luke, what's your favorite wing flavor and pizza toppings? I'm a traditional buffalo guy, and then pizza toppings, my favorite is jalapeno and pepperoni. That's like if I get to pick, that's how I pick it. Sorry. Allergies. You can hear that my nose doesn't work. I might have to close this so I can blow my nose, but we'll see how this goes. This main event has odd crossover appeal. People at my kickboxing gym today were talking about this fight, and those guys do not enjoy the UFC. Yeah, for sure. Kamikaze says Taira, the first Japanese UFC champ tonight. Yeah, so if you guys don't know this, he has the opportunity. A guy now, Machida kind of gets in because his father's Japanese. I don't know if he's a Japanese national, but you know, it kind of it quite literally fathers you in. But for like a Japanese-born Japanese fighter, you know, with no other nationality, like a Japanese dude. And again, I'm not trying to say who is and who isn't Japanese, but like you know, what you would commonly consider to be Japanese. No one's ever done that and won a UFC title. No one's ever been that and won a UFC title. So like he could do it here and be the first one. That'd be crazy as shit. It's kind of wild, man. Like if people look at Japan now and they're like, oh, Japan's, you know, they're on the map. They're doing some stuff, but like 20 years ago, they were the epicenter of the universe. Not just the biggest fights happened there, but like, dude, the amount of teams that used to be in Japan, like Weijutsu Kaisukai and like Crazy Bee and like all these teams, dude, they were everywhere. They had women's MMA long before we ever did, and they had a weird version. They had Jules, they had Smack Girl, they had different names, and you know, it wasn't always that great either. But like, dude, it was just you know, and then they also had kickboxing. It was the home of kickboxing, and or you know, a certain kind of kickboxing anyway. You know, and they are not what that they're not that anymore, but they're still important. And then again, just in the scope of history, they're one of the main contributors to the success of MMA. It's kind of strange that you've never seen a Japanese-born Japanese fighter win a UFC title, but we might hear. And then the referee, Vitor Shaolin Ribeiro. Shaolin, bitches, is the ref out in Jersey. Love to see it. Love to see it. As a man with bad tattoos, I can tell you that Josh's Vans are not great. Dude, Taira looks like, if you just look at his back, you're like, oh yeah, it's an athlete. And then you see his face and you're like, is this one of the dudes from BTS? I realize they're Korean. I'm just saying, like, he's got this boyish, you know, I mean, truly, he looks like he's getting out of primary school. All right, there's Tatsuro. There's Josh Van. They've got him as the underdog, plus 135. We shall see. I've got Sean by way of not kidnapping his wife. We'll come back to this because there's a story about this that we're not exactly sure if it's true. We don't really know, but we'll talk about this in a minute. Let's watch this fight. Oh, let me get the round timer ready. All right, round timer's ready. All right, here comes the face-off. Final instructions. Shaolin Ribeiro talking to Tatsuro Taira. He doesn't understand a fucking word of that. All right, here we go. Round one. Josh Van versus Tatsuro Taira for the UFC flyweight title. Will a Japanese fighter claim the crown tonight? We shall see. Let's do it. You would imagine the longer this stays on the fight, not that Taira is in immediate danger. Nice leg kick from Taira to open it. You would imagine the longer it goes, the more it could go in Van's favor, to the point where it could go really in Van's favor. So you would imagine Taira, who by the way looks big for this weight class relative to Van. There's your double. He runs it back. Man, he's trying to get his hands together. This is good defense from Van. He's going to probably step through. Yep, there it is. He's going to attach it to himself, and then he takes him backwards. That was nice. That was really, really nice. And he's already in mount. Holy fuck. Taira is a fucking animal. Jesus. Let's see his riding ability. Sean Brady's riding ability against anybody, but as you saw in the Buckley fight, is outrageously good. Outrageously good. You can see the crowd's a little restless because, again, the fights have not necessarily been bad. Some of them have been quite good, but they've been a little bit like they've been fine, you know, but there's been nothing like really like, oh my God, you know. Van staying calm, trying to keep his elbows in and grab bicep ties. You can see that. And now he's trying to do this, essentially the shrimping escape, where you kind of put your hands on their hips and then you just keep kind of like inching off the bridge to get him out, which he does. And he's got him here in half guard. Now he's got butterfly guard. He likes to stand up from butterfly guard. He's going to get his guard pass doing that. Yep. So this is what I mean about using your guard to stand up. Now, Sean doesn't really do that, but Van will do that. We talked about it a minute ago, using the guard to stand up. You just saw an example of it, you know? All right, he might get this. He can take the back from here, or he can do a guillotine. He's got a front headlock series. Let's see what he does with it. He could transition to a Darce here too, depending on how it goes. He's got a nice bite. He could take the back from here and let this go. Oof. Good job by Van being patient. Good jab from Taira. So that mount that Taira had, this is now here comes Van moving downhill a little bit. Great jab from him. And then up, and now they're exchanging. Taira might have just fucked up Van's eye. Oh, great jab from Van. Taira returning fire a little bit. Oh. Another takedown from Taira. Got one, came easy. He's going to lace the legs. Yep. So the problem with that mount that he had is that mount is very good for anchoring yourself to them and keeping them flat with your pressure, but it doesn't give you a lot of ability to really unload by removing chest pressure from the opponent. This is good. So you obviously you can't lift Van this way, so you just take him sideways and then he can go up, right? But that mount is tough. Like the really good ones, they can like use control positions to land heavy ground and pound. Habib was quite good at this. Like he would get to an advanced position. All right, now here comes a bit of a gift wrap potentially for Taira. Nope, lets it go. Van stands with that back leg first, which is kind of an interesting way to do it. He's going to get taken backwards here if he's not careful. Body lock from Taira. Point I'm trying to make is, dude, when you get these guys down, I know it's a lot of work to hold a guy down, but man, the punishment needs to be there. Like if you're not punishing them in these windows that you have them, you're not. I mean, again, I know that, you know, there's exceptions to that rule. Khamzat DDP is kind of an example of that, but in general, oh, nice trip. Takes him over to the side and then does an like basically an inside trip with the back leg. So that's really nice. And now he's right in the mount again. Holy fuck. I mean, there's no question Taira's better on the ground, but you got to do something with it. This is good from Van avoiding that elbow. You got to make it count. You got to make it count, Taira. Oh. All right, so I would say that round probably goes to Taira. Again, we're counting damage first. Counting damage first. Van's corner telling him that's what he's got. Now you've seen it, which is true. I mean, it's not all he's got, but that's the right message to be sending. Corner saying standard stuff. All right, here comes round 2. Here we go. Oops. I got to go forward just a little bit. Oh, wait. All right, here comes Van stalking. Taira looked like he was reaching for a high crotch, but he doesn't actually commit. Good jab from Taira. I'll tell you what, that right eye of Van is a little bit of a mess. Here is Taira on the head inside single. He's trying to switch to the double. He's going to use this to get his hands together. He's going to step through. Let's see him step through, right? Like that. This is called a front Uchimata. He's going to try. Oh, good defense. You got to pick them up and then use your leg to kind of hike them over. That was well done by Van to defend that. Good job of firing that underhook. Let's see if a nice knee there by Taira, even though he lost it. Oh, great jab. I'm telling you, that right eye of Van, it might be a little bit more effective. Great combo from Van. Great combo. Oh, Van's got doing a little bit of target practice here. Taira not moving his head at all. Hands down. What are you doing there, fella? Van's starting to pick it up. That was a good timing on that jab by Taira. Good timing on that double outside trip, and he gets it. All right, so you're still in butterfly. Let's see if he's going to pass. Taira's going to pass. Yep, he sure does. He goes to mount. Now watch the situation here. You got chest-to-chest pressure. This is great because Van cannot get up from here. Not from this. But you can see now there's daylight between their stomachs, and you got now Van trying to. You guys got a bicep tie. He's going to try and get to his side, and then kind of inch his legs out. You see this pretty commonly. Gordon Ryan does a version of this, just like that, where you sit up, right? Taira can't really get any offense going here. And my point is, like, if I'm him, I think that there is an argument to be made to have a little less control to give you the opportunity to land something massive. Because that's really what you need. That is so much more valuable than spending 3 minutes trying to hold a guy down and not getting fuck all from it, in my opinion. Now, it's easy for me to say. I'm not the one that has to worry about like a guy getting up from it, which, you know, they are. Okay, this is great passing from Taira. Very, very strong pressure passing. Decent job by Van to well, that went away. All right, so now pay attention. There's basically 3 kinds of mount. There's that low mount that you saw before where you go chest to chest. Then there's a mid mount. And then there's a high mount. He can't really get to the high mount because Van is too squirmy. But this is what I mean, dude. You need to like start kneeing this fucker, start threatening a sub. You know, so that's why I like that Brady behind the back guillotine he tries. Or, you know, well, it's not behind his back, but it's like where he's reaching like behind the head of his opponent when he's in mount like that, or inside, or even in half, right? Because their head comes off the mat and then he whips it around. And if you can't do that, then he threatens the Kimura series. Look at this. Look at this. There's none of this. It's very good about holding this guy down. If this is a jiu-jitsu battle, Taira is winning it cleanly, but You know, I'm not sure what the value of this is. Okay, potential Darce. Potential Darce. Let's see. He's going to try and gator roll him. We'll change the fucking camera. There we go. Taira let him off the hook, man. Oh, he gets rocked and dropped. That was a bad call. Taira's going to try and control his posture here by grabbing his foot. You can break your foot doing that, by the way. It's much better to grab the shin. He might be going for an arm bar here, but I doubt it because it's scarf hold. It's possible you could see him going for an arm bar. He lets it go. Wow. Yeah, Van wins that one, dude. Taira controlled for most of that round, but he got dropped. Hold on, I'm going to blow my nose. I'm going to put this up real quick. I'll be right back. Don't get mad at me. I got to do this real quick. Let's see, overlay. Where is this? One second. Let me do it this way. There it is. Okay. Okay, boys and girls, look at how he's throwing a leg kick to a guy moving into him. It's not to say that you can't do that, but you have to be very, very, very careful. A lot of guys want to throw that leg kick to chop when they're intercepting, and you can do that. But if you're going to do that, you got to make sure that you're still got enough distance to pull it off, and you got to get your head off pretty quickly. Like your timing has to be quite right. And it's always risky because they're going to be closing ranks on you as you are planted. And that's exactly what you saw there. Oh, Taira's still banged up. Oops, let me get the clock up. Hang on, I'll get it up. Don't worry. Where are we? Let's see. Hold on, not yet. There we are. Van is marching downhill on him. Great uppercut, left hook combo from Van. Yo, if you're Taira, bro, you don't need to be fucking around here. It's time to go get that takedown. Yeah, there we go. Oh. Van is Van, hard right hand, then left hook to the body from Van. Yo, this one's not going to go too much longer if this keeps up. Unless Taira can get the takedown, I don't know. He's in trouble. He almost lost his mouthpiece, and now his nose is leaking. Yeah, bro, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. I mean, I'll be the first to say that Taira's win over Moreno was super impressive. Oh, this is not going to go too much longer. This is not going to go too much longer. Taira's got heart, but he doesn't have enough skill. And the people who are anointing him after the Moreno win is like, oh, this guy can win a title. I'm like, well, you couldn't rule that out, but he still didn't have enough seasoning. I mean, in that Royval fight, he got completely torched on the feet, right? Was the Royval fight? Oh, dude, Van is... Yeah. Yeah, this one's not going to go too much longer, folks. This one's not going to go too much longer. Oh, yeah. This one's just about done. Shaolin, you got a job to do here, bud. All right, Taira's trying to wrestle up. He's trying to wrestle up. He's about to get suplexed. Yep. Don't wrestle him on the ground, dude. He can reverse position. Oh, here we go. He wants to finish him. Oh, he's okay. He's got a choke over the jaw. It's more of a crank. This was a kind of a bad idea, and he doesn't really have it right. He's got it over this way. That's no good. You don't want it that way. This is a little better. But even then, there's not enough here. This was a stupid idea. He's trying to look cool doing it that's better. That's better. Oh, he lets it go. This is better. This is better. Finish him off here. This one's just about done. If I'm the corner of Taira, I'm watching this one. If Taira makes it out of the round, I'll be impressed as shit. And he landed a nice left hook there. Oh. Van looks a little. Van looks like he's heavy breathing here a little bit. A little bit. Oh. Oh. I tell you what, Taira's got heart. Wow. He shoots a double. Can he get it? He might get this. He might get this. His hands are clasped. He has to get a little bit lower. Yeah. The lock. He still got the lock. He can still run this. Taira runs out. Take there, dude. Tough little bastard. I tell you what, man. If I'm Taira's corner, I don't know if they let him out for another round. I know they're going to. We all know they're going to, but I don't know about that one. Great. He gets the takedown, and he gets into leg drag. Man, heart from Tatsuro Taira. Heart. A lot of heart. Tough little fucker. I tell you what, Van looks a little tired to me. We'll see what happens in the third round. We'll see. Yeah, dude, if I'm Taira's corner, man, look at his face, bro. That shit's gonna swell up real fucking bad. Boom, boom. Looks like he took an illegal knee. Oh, huge uppercut. Jab. Jab. Man. That's so impressive that Taira was able to make it to the end of that round. That's crazy. Believe in yourself. Sending this poor bastard back out there. Did they put any Enswell on his face? Also, yeah, that decision by Van to try and submit him was stupid. I hated it. Everyone's trying to look cool. Just win the fight, bro. It's a UFC title. Here we go. Round 4, excuse me. Hard leg kick from Taira. Oh, look at Taira. Oh. Oh, great shot. Good shot to the hips. He's still got the body lock. Let's see what Van can do off the wizard. He's going to ride it. So you'll notice Van is lifting his leg to avoid getting pulled into the front Uchimata. And as a consequence, then Taira can go behind and then pull him to the mat. So you avoided this takedown. You set up the next one. So now here he is. Van loves to do this from double butterfly, double underhooks. This is his kind of thing here. Look at him. Look at Taira float to mount here from leg drag. That was really nice leg pummeling. Very, very nice. But you got to put some offense behind it, brother. I can't believe Taira made it. He should not have made it out of that round. Here comes Van sitting up. Taira, this is what I mean about Taira doing too much to hold a guy down. And you're like, oh, well, he'll get beat on the feet. Well, then you're not ready to be fighting these kinds of guys. You know what I mean? He moves to mount. Still chest to chest. Okay, this is good. Open him up with the chest. That actually is fine. But you got to do something with it. Okay, you've got a crossface here. It's going to make it hard to move until you can turn off the crossface. He's trying to isolate an arm, it looks like. Yes. Mm-hmm. It's going to be real tough. Van is squirmy. That's good. Those are nice shots. That's better. Dude, drop him on his head. Drop him. He's lifted off the mat. Oh, my God, these fucking guys. Drop him down. Jack Hermanson has a ground and pound tutorial, and one of his favorite kind of ground and pound tutorial strikes is if you're on top, you know, you're thinking, oh, I got to go this way or I got to come around. And he was like, no one hardly from top position ever does an uppercut as ground and pound, like through the middle, like an uppercut. And he goes, it can't necessarily. Oh, here comes a triangle. He's got to grab the foot. Oh, that was well done. Well done. That was well done. Here comes Tatsuro. Believe in yourself. That motherfucker listened, bro. I tell you what, that's a resilient, both huge jabs from both guys. Man, if Taira could put a left hook, you know, kind of feint the jab and then come with the hook and then close that eye up. Oh, man, this is target practice for Van. This is target practice. Van's just staying with the jab. Taira, come on, bro. Oh my God, this guy. There's a nice leg kick from Taira. Great jabs from both guys, but mostly Van. All right, he runs down to double, can't get it. Great stuff and sprawl from Van. So let's see who wins on the clinch break. It's like it was Van, and then another one. I mean, I'm not exactly scoring it. I don't know if Taira has a round. He might have one. It's probably going to need a stoppage to get this done. Do they put N-Swell on this motherfucker's face? Bro, how do you not have N-Swell? Okay. Round 5, bitches. Here we go. I can't believe we got to round 5 after round 3. Van looks like he's, I don't know. I'm not saying he's gassed, but he's definitely a step down. If Taira could just get better striking, he'd be a nightmare. Can't believe they didn't put any N-Swell on. I mean, he's not exactly got like a broken orbital or anything, but here we go. Oh, Jesus. Taira tried to switch stance and he's moving to his left. So then Van just greeted him with a lead right. Ugh. Another good right hand from Van. Oh, body lock. Van pulls out of it. Oh, great timing on the shot by Taira, but he's got nothing left. He runs it to the fence. He still has the underhook. Miles Johns has a 2-2. Great stuff by Van. Another great jab. Great frames to stuff the shot. 2 body shots from Van. Here comes Taira marching forward. Good knee. Oh, these two are awesome. I see people saying the fight was 2-2. Maybe it was. Again, I'm not hardcore judging. Oh. Dude, Taira's getting battered. That's it. Yep. He started walking away. He covered up and started walking away. You can't do that. That's not that's different than evading. That's not the right thing. If you're getting punched and you just turn away and move, then they're going to stop that. That's a fair call. And plus he had taken so much abuse at that point. I know Taira's bitter, but he shouldn't be. Taira's a dog. I can't believe they didn't put ice on his face or any kind of end swell. I really don't understand that, but whatever. Yes, it was a good stoppage. That's Rogan saying. Yes, he's totally right. That was a good stoppage. Well, I tell you what, that Van versus Pantoja fight is going to be lit. The real one, not the first one that we didn't really get to enjoy, but then the real one. Whenever that happens, here we go. Here comes the replay. Boom, jab to the body, to the head. Look, he's just flowing with these combinations, touching him. Now watch. He lands a punch here, a kick. Let's see. Punch, body shot, another body shot, right hand, another right hand. Yes, and you can see Taira just kind of folds and then walks away. Once you do that, they're going to call it. You can't do that. You can like kind of cover and evade, but look, watch the body language here. Right hand. Yeah, you see he just walks. He's just walking and getting hit. No, you can't do that. Can't do that. Cannot do that. I appreciate how tough Taira is. I didn't think he was going to make it out of that third round. You know, arguably maybe even won the fourth round, depending on how you want to have it. We'll take a look at the scorecards when they get released a little bit later. But they got to stop that. Great performance from Josh Van. Stayed out of trouble, even though, you know, interestingly, he never really gave up the back. He was much more willing to give up mount, which you also saw Buckley do, which is interesting. I think it's concerted because I feel like they can take their chances from mount, whereas maybe they don't think they can take their chances from back mount. But in any case, great win by him, and he retains the flyweight title. All right, let's get to some of your questions. All right, so Kareem Zidane had reporting. Now, it's not his original reporting. He was saying that there is a dissident group, and I looked up the dissident group. They're a real dissident group in Chechnya, and they do operate on Telegram. And they had written the government has called them terrorists. They're just people who are anti-Kadyrov, but they're not like there's no militia. They're just a media outlet. In any event, and in one of their Telegram reports. Now, the issue is they've had Telegram reports before that were wrong. They had one where they thought Chimaev was dead, which is obviously not the case. But in it, they claim that Chimaev. Now, this is not Kareem's original reporting, but the reporting of the outlet that according to them, Chimaev basically kidnapped an underage second wife. And forcibly married her, 17-year-old. I don't know if it's true. It remains inconclusive as best I can tell. And even when Kareem talks about it, he's like, this is what they're reporting. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know what to make of that, but not, it's like, this is what I mean. It's like, who you're rooting for. I don't know. All right, here's Josh Van. Jesus getting a lot of shout outs here tonight. Yeah, he sure did. They're talking about Taira's heart. All right, here's the highlight. Boom, jab, body, oh, that right hand. Boom, boom, and that left hook. Yeah, dude. I mean, come on. Taira was fighting for his life out there. No. That kid's 26. Save him, bro. Save him. Oh, that right hand. That right hand after the left to the solar plexus. That is a show closer, ladies and gentlemen. Look at his family. Happy as shit. All right, they're talking about Pantoja. Oh, where's Pantoja? Oh, there he is. Look at Pantoja. There he is. Josh Van, ladies and gentlemen. 5th round stoppage. Well done. Well done. We'll talk about that in the post-fight show. Well done. Well done. All right. Last 2 fights of the night are wildly intriguing. I think Taira has got it in the co-main. He did not, but who knows? Sit next to the Tate brothers to watch fights live or see a full Burt Kreischer stand-up live? I might sit next to the Tates, to be honest with you. Should we fans that are also decent human beings boycott the UFC at this point because of its Trump support? That's up to you. That's a personal call. Would it even matter either way? Well, only if enough of you did, which I don't think would happen. Short answer is fine. Thanks for everything. Yeah, it would really depend. All right, who we got here? Khalil Roundtree's there. Wearing shades inside. There he is. Poetan. And there's the Freedom Belt. Whatever the fuck that is. Luke, wondering if you started planning on how you will cover the day of UFC White House. I know you typically like to keep the chat apolitical during live events. Yes. So I can tell you that where I had a meeting with Othello about this last week about what we're going to do. Still trying to work out we're trying to find a venue. I think my goal would be, it turns out trying to get this done on fight night at a bar or at a facility is a little more complicated than it might look. However, pre-fight stuff, so like doing a live chat out in town or something like that, we're trying to lock in a place for that. But that night, the night of the fights, I'm going to do like a full hey, we're going to react to the fights as just fights, and then I'm going to go live on my political channel for all the other kind of discussion. And if you don't want that, good news, you don't have to get it, But if you want it, it'll be there. Thank you for being this is a very nice comment. A beacon of light in this crummy world. You're appreciated on the daily. P.S. I heard Tsunami. Pretty good. Vicious guitar tone. Yes. Y'all know that hardcore band, Tsunami? They got a couple ditties, don't they? Casual fans are going to be disappointed the trash talk doesn't live up to the hype of the main. One is a wet blanket. Whoops. What happened? And the other teeps to a decision. See, we watched some tape on him, and he does more than the teeping. If you actually look at the Fluffy fight, it's going to sound like not much, but if you actually think about the differences, it's going to be significant that he has an inside cut kick now off the turn, and that has kind of varied things up for him. Love the Friday MK with Jimmy Smith, 2 of the sharpest minds in MMA, in my opinion. Thank you very much. I know he's very busy, but I hope he'll be back soon. Yes, he actually had to run the instant we were done, so it's it depends on his schedule. There's Strickland. Luke, damn near any reaction to the knockdown? Bias much? I'm not sure what this is. Guys, apparently I'm quite biased, Taira has first class ticket to CTEville. Yeah. Yeah, he does. He does. Shaolin is the best referee in the business. He's very good. Crowd chanting USA. I mean, he is an immigrant, but what are you gonna do? Van looked good, but I feel bad for Taira, who took an illegal knee in New Jersey. That messed him up bad. Shaolin messed up bad on that one. I mean, that one I didn't see in real time either. Granted, I'm not in the cage, but fair enough. That one, I mean, if there's a way to get that back, it's kind of hard to do in MMA. But to your point, he got kind of, but you can't file paperwork to any kind of effect on this. You just kind of have to eat it. O'Malley just chilling amongst the chaos was funny. Oh, at the presser? Yeah, it looked like the Last Supper almost. Van is the real deal. Yeah, he is. He's the champ for a reason. Does the illegal knee change the context of the fight? I have to go back and watch the round. It didn't seem like it in real time, but that's hard to say. Holy Jesus, Taira versus Van was absolutely magical. It was great. And kudos to Sean Brady tonight. Us middle finger us all in the main event. Humanity loses. Love you, Luke. Thank you. I think Van's jab won in the fight tonight. Sometimes boxing does the trick. Sometimes being superior in one spot can win fights. This is an example. Yeah, pressure on the gas, the combination punching, the body punching was critical, but the ability to use this kind of shrimping mount escape is the real key. Any chance they might do other White House cards if it works well? Feels like Trump would want to have them frequently, regardless of the security risk. Here's my prediction. I think they do. I don't know that they will. I think that they do. I think it's very possible they could turn this into an annual stop in the in the summers. Now, granted, I don't know about Trump's health, and I don't know what happens if one too many Diet Cokes and Big Macs have them croak. I don't know. But yeah, I think that they were like, oh, this is a once in a lifetime event. Dude, they do this all the time. Like when the BMF belt first came out. I don't know if folks remember this. When the BMF belt was introduced, they were like, this is a one-time thing. And then here we are 7 years later and they're still doing it. You know what I mean? So no, that's just not this idea like, oh, it's a one and done. It might be. It genuinely might be. And God forbid if something bad happens, which again, knock on wood, there's nothing like that. But I think if it is like they do a big number, like they're gonna keep doing this. I think Trump wants the adulation from the UFC, and UFC would be able to constantly be able to have a reliable, huge summer because you could go and get all the attention that that Trump world provides, and then on top of it, you've got July, so you've got International Fight Week, like boom, boom, back to back. That's a huge thing. They're just going to walk away from that. They're going to build this fucking crane and just walk away from it. Maybe. But I think if they end up announcing, oh, we're going to make this an annual stop, I would not. You heard it here first. I would not be surprised, Which engine should I go for with my new car? Galileo 12 or Galileo 24? I don't even know what the fuck that is. I'm not a car guy, unfortunately. I drive a 2015 Mazda CX-5, ladies and gentlemen. I am not a car guy. These Zuffa signings could end up on a White House card. Shakur Devin, maybe we will see in the future. Not on this one, I guess. The crowd is awful with the booing of the grappling. Disgusting behavior. Dude, they came there hyped for a Khamzat and Strickland fight. They don't want to see mount escapes. They want to see, blood and guts, brother. If you want to get in a question or you want to just support the channel, a super chat goes a very long way. So I always appreciate that when you can do that. That'd be great. You don't have to. You're in no obligation, but so I've seen people say Khamzat can go in here and submit him immediately, and that's certainly a real possibility. I don't think it's the likeliest one. The likeliest one for me is that he's going to have to earn it, and I think it's going to go down to the wire. But, I think his ability to take Sean down and capture the back relatively easily, I think he's going to do that here tonight. But everyone's like, oh, the DDP fight, he couldn't finish. Yeah, the Usman one was like that too. All right, here comes the walkouts. So I guess Strickland's coming out first, right? All right, let's see. Who will win? The man who taunted his opponent about the indescribably traumatic child abuse they suffered, or the man who accused his opponent of having sexual relations with barn animals due to the nature of his religion? We shall find out. All right, there's Strickland, clean shaven. You see him touching his face a lot with the back of his glove, like these little tiny, tiny, tiny punches almost. You know, a lot of these guys are just trying to feel certain things, kind of prep the body for trauma almost. There's Sean Strickland. He looks dialed in to me. Looks to be, to me, in excellent shape. All right. He's in the prep point. Johnny Eblin in the corner there of Strickland. There's Eric Nixick in the back. I'm told 40% of you guys in the chat think Strickland's going to win. 40%. I think that's probably about right in the sense of like, yeah, I think it's probably right to favor Khamzat, but I'm actually like, again, if you go back and watch, I mean, you won't at this point, but like anyone who watched the Substack the live tape study, I was pretty clear. I was like, I still have questions about Chimaev. I do. Obviously, he's good, right? I mean, that's not really the question, but like at these narrow little contexts, I still have questions about him, and those contexts can be significant. All right, let's see the security situation. And I wanted you to think about the security situation. Once Khamzat gets in there, and then B, between rounds, and then C, at the end of the fight, if it's a stoppage, if it's not a stoppage, and if it's a submission, and they got to be separated, like Conor and Khabib, like all the ways in which security can break down at any of those levels. I'm curious to see how this goes. I think Sean looks dialed in, man. I do. All right, here comes Boers. He's getting booed. I saw Kimbo Slice fight in the Prudential Center. I saw him blow James Thompson's ear guts into the atmosphere, turn it into pink mist. That's cool how they have the wolf eyes on the ring apron or the octagon apron there. That's cool. That's dope. Luke, thoughts on the new Honda Civic hybrid hatchback and the electronically controlled, continuously variable transmission? Dude, that might as well be the Starship Enterprise compared to what I'm pushing. There's Boers with a wild-eyed look in his face. Sean at plus 400 is crazy to me. I agree. That's a fucking significant number. I think it's a good betting number no matter what. Or am I missing something about this that others know? I mean, the odds makers have been vindicated a number of times. This is what this fight is so intriguing to me. Everyone's like, sure, what's going to happen? I'm not. I'm really not, man. To me, I think these guys have they're obviously very proven in certain ways. To me, they've got a lot to prove. They've got a lot to prove. How much will Alex weigh against Cyril? Probably 240, maybe 235, somewhere around that. What are the odds of a post-fight melee? That's exactly what's on my mind, man. That's exactly what's on my mind. Sean's done nothing to make me think he can win. All right, fair enough. Like I said, dude, if Khamzat goes in there, takes him down, captures the back, pounds on him, a little bit of resistance, and eventually like locks up some kind of darce, would this be like, oh wow, this is such a impossible scenario to imagine? No, but I just feel like the dude's got a little bit more to prove before I'm like fully convinced about all the many things he can do. He can do a lot. He's fucking champion. He can do a lot. But you know, these individual instances. Say what you will, at least Sean wouldn't take his belt to Trump. Yeah, he would. Khamzat going to be sitting on Kadirov's lap on Monday. Yeah, but Sean would do it too. I mean, I don't think he's that much better. Luke, been around a long time with you. Can't remember disliking anyone more than Hokit. Your thoughts on this clown? Started off the thing talking about this. Everyone, I couldn't possibly understand the brain that it would take to think that his shtick is entertaining. I don't understand that, but like, it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be good at all. It just needs to be in your face and memorable and loud and weird, and that's it. And it is. It absolutely works in the modern troll economy. MMA fans piss me off. Not one of us would last 2 minutes with the lowest ranked flyweight. Yet they all talk shit and judge. Sorry to vent on the live chat or on the LC. I'm not sure what that is, live chat. Fight fans have always done some shit like this, though. And boxing fans do it too. Like they talk shit and judge, and I'm not saying it's great. I'm just saying it's not exactly new. How much do you think these guys are making in this main event? Sean a couple mil, and Khamzat maybe somewhere in the 5 to 7 range, something like that. I mean, maybe that might be a little high. It could be a little lower. But possible. It's possible. Graduated my cardiovascular sonography program on Friday. Thank you for all your content, especially your work on your political channel. Thank you. Really helped me keep sane during my studying and long nights. Well, congratulations on the completion of your sonography cardiovascular program. It's fucking awesome. Team Chimaev, smoke him while you got him. All right. Tail of the tape, 32 versus 35, 6'2 versus 6'1. They're both 185. Sean Strickland has a 1-inch reach advantage. Why are we respecting Sean this much? Again, it's not that I think, oh, he's got the blueprint. I think he's got some interesting things that I would like to see tested against a guy who I think can do a lot, but that I still have some lingering questions about. How does that match up? In my mind, gun to my head, I think Chimaev should win this one. Let's see. Does Strickland have staph on his chest? If he does, he's still in good shape, and I don't care. You know what I mean? Brother. Look, I remember this being brought up by someone in the past, but any chance of adding some more badges for long-tenured members? Yes, definitely. Before the White House event, for sure. DC notoriously doesn't do research, getting corrected on air that Taira isn't Chinese. Yes, that was quite bad, I have to admit. Continues to call him Chinese. What the fuck are we doing here? I have made mistakes doing commentary. Doing MMA commentary is hard, although this was obviously doing, pre-fight, pre-fight, analysis, programming, live shows, that kind of a thing. Yeah, it's not. I mean, we all make mistakes. I've made a million of them. We do dead wrong. Y'all have killed me, and I've deserved it. So let he who's without sin cast the first stone. But yeah, that's not great. It's not great. All right. There's Khamzat. He looks intense, but not insane. Well, any more insane than they already are, I suppose. If you guys have never been to Newark, take a shit in your hand and then try to eat it. And that's what being in Newark is like. This is a true story. This is a little morbid, but this is true. When I found out that my mom died, I was actually taking the PATH train from Manhattan to Newark. And they called when I was underground still in Manhattan, because I would take the 2, I think. I'm not sure which one I would take, but it was one of the ones. I used to live down by Wall Street. 60 Nassau Street was where I used to live. And I got the call and I couldn't answer it. So then I called my it was my brother-in-law at the time, and I called him back. I'm like, what's up? He's like, call me when you get to Newark. So I actually found out my mom died while I was in I had just walked outside of the Newark Penn train station. So lots of ugly memories. sorry to bring down the vibe. Lots of ugly memories in the great city of Newark. All right. Now we're gonna get to Khamzat here. Ooh. He's a minus 490 favorite. Okay. Odds makers have been vindicated a number of times this year on odds. I've been like, what? Those odds don't make sense. And then the fight happens. You're like, well. So to me, this is a big test. Big test. He shaved his armpits for whatever reason. Oh, he does look insane today. Are they going to do a face-off? Oh, here they go. Let's see it. They touch gloves. They touch gloves. I can't believe they touch gloves. They're talking. They're talking. They touch gloves again. Are these two about to have a hug fest? Twice. They touch gloves twice. Right. Here we go. Let's see how this goes. How long does it take before Chimaev has his first takedown and or the back? Let's go. Strickland doesn't use his backhand, but mostly for defense early on. Chimaev in on a double. He immediately gets it. This is not a big surprise. Sean is very typical of using his hands to post and stand or his elbow. He's going to try and maintain head height here. Of course, so is Chimaev. Chimaev is waiting for him to turn. That's interesting. He's not really turning just yet. That's funny. Chimaev is, there you go. Now he stands. Chimaev's going to take him down. Chimaev captures half the back, not full. So now we have a corner ride. So this is where, to me, the fight is going to be won or lost in either direction. Not necessarily just this one particular moment, but like the fight generally. Chimaev, he's got the back. Sean escaped this on a boost mega Madoff. The choking arm is on the top side. So there's a possibility here he could actually get his shoulders, and the head is on the other side of the arm. If the head and the arm go to the same side, it's going to make it easier for Sean to sit up. Chimaev might come on top here. Yep, just like that. I got to tell you, not a thrilling fight thus far. See, people like, okay, now he has the back. Let's see if he gets taken off of his base. He does. Okay. Let's see. Now the choking arm is on the bottom side, plus it's the underhook side. That's going to make turning on that side a little harder. Interesting that he's got ankle wraps. I cannot recall if he had them before. You guys might not. I don't recall that, but he might have. I don't know. He might come up on top here. Let's see. There's virtually no damage being done here. He turns him here. Chimaev might be trying to capture an arm with his own leg to facilitate the rear naked choke. You'll notice a lot of times on the top side, Chimaev is putting his hook to the outside to do this, to facilitate coming up and to facilitate the ride. Sean scrambles to his base. Chimaev smothers and stays on top and takes him almost right back down. Yes, collapses him the structure again. Still 2 minutes left in this round. Don't put that on the screen, y'all. Take that off the screen, please. Current comment. Don't put that on the screen, please. He's got him from the harness now. He's riding on top. Now you have to have ground and pound. If you're Chimaev, Sean might come up underneath, almost like a deep half here. Yep, just like that. So this is a very different thing than what, like, ooh, nice mat return. Jesus. Okay, that was the one good strike. Was just kind of throwing this dude around. Brady, once he gets you down, wants to just like flatten and hold you. Chimaev will let you ride. Chimaev's nose is bleeding. I don't know what from, but it's bleeding. I mean, not a big deal. It's not bleeding from the nostrils. It's bleeding from the bridge. I mean, if it's this for 5 rounds, what does this do for Chimaev's stock? Okay, that's a tight choke. I don't know if it's got enough. It's enough to make it painful. I don't know if it's enough to submit him. Nope. Oh, he switches sides. You can get it over the jaw. There we go. So, all right, let's see what happens. Okay. All right. Easy round. 10-9 Chimaev. Strickland seems more tired being rode like that. Yeah, well, it's just draining to constantly try to get your elbow and your hands to the mat or your knee or your foot up, and you're trying to move, and then the person on is sagging their weight and pulling you off of your base, and then you have to catch yourself, and you're constantly, you know what I mean? It's just, you're just constantly being glued, and it's tough to undo that. So the question is, let's see if round 2 yields anything different for Sean. This battle, one way or the other, has to be won. Either stopping it or, just a couple different ways to answer for it. But round 2. Ooh. So Sean throwing a right hand early in the second tells me that he's kind of ready to get some offense going, because he's typically more reserved with using the right hand offensively early in contests. Wow, nice, almost intercepting kind of shovel punch there from Strickland. This is better by Strickland getting the jab going. Chimaev, obviously, as you can see, will switch stances. His defensive reaction after an offensive action is really, to me, the problem, especially if he's backing up. You'll notice DDP was able to blitz when Chimaev would back up off of strikes, because he'd be linear and slow and lazy with it. You'll notice that. See that? How he just kind of backs off loosely for someone who wants to take advantage of it. I'm not saying Strickland is or is not that guy. Got his hand up there. That was good. Good try from Sean. Sean needs to get back to that cut kick. Turn it into an outside leg kick too, or cut kick now, or get to do some body work on Chimaev. Good jab from both guys, or good right hand anyway from Sean. There. Yep. Ooh, good stuff from Sean. He can't get the takedown, so he's underneath Sean. Let's see what he can do with it. Strickland, excuse me, Chimaev has full guard. This is interesting. We saw this in the 5th round against Dricus du Plessis. I tell you what, Chimaev look a little tired. Khamzat look a little tired to y'all? Look at him. Look at him like putting his head back, like kind of giving up. Not giving up, but like woe is me kind of a feel. All right, Khamzat stands. Khamzat looks a little, and obviously that weight cut didn't go great. Good right hand from Sean. Sean, much more, dude. I'm telling you, these shots from these are not, dude. Chimaev looks tired, bro. Chimaev looks tired. Sean's gonna win this shit if he keeps this up. Wow, bro. I'm telling you, if Sean Strickland wins this, it's a monster achievement. No bullshit. No bullshit. Dude, Khamzat looks terrible. He's being almost cradled here. This is the guy talking about going to 205? I mean, granted, if the weight cut is the issue, okay, but like, dude, he looks terrible. Look at his body language. Look at Chimaev's body language. When the head goes like this, look at that. Here's Cormier repeating me. Bro. Boys, I got to tell you, this ain't. It's what I mean about people like oh, why are we giving Strickland a lot of credit? I'm telling you, man, like I'm you can look at what I said on tape. I have questions about Chimaev. And now this appears to be weight cut related or maybe something else. I don't really know. He looks like shit. So, okay, after 2, 1-1. 1-1. Look at his body language here. Oh, I think that weight cut smashed him to pieces. With a guy like Chimaev, wouldn't just winging an uppercut be worth it? Yes. Right? Because, I mean, yeah, you're probably, I mean, it's going to be low percentage anyway. And if it lands, it'll do damage. 2 wives can really. Okay. All right. I mean, that's funny, but there's Armin Saryukian. Dude, Chimaev looks like balls. All right, here we go. Let's get this going for round 3. Let's see if I think it's okay. Here we go. Oh, I think Chimaev may have taken round 2 off. Dude, I mean, you know Sean's not going to get tired. Better defense from Chimaev on the counter to his jab. Good jab from Chimaev. So what? Sean's still too reserved for me. Maybe he'll open up a little bit more halfway through. I love the jab of Strickland. Look, touching it, putting combinations now together with it, and not only. And by the way, like Chimaev bringing his hands here, like you can tell where the punches are coming from. It's a good counter shot. He's baiting out responses with it. Ooh, double jab right hand for Chimaev doesn't quite go through. That jab for Strick. Oh, good jab from Chimaev too now. That was a nice one. He snuck through. Good right hand from dude. I'm telling you, like Chimaev's defensive work is already slow, even under the best of terms. And he looks a little better this round than he did the last one, but still. Ooh. What is the crowd chanting? Looks like Sean's nose is leaking a little. Oh, another good shot from Chimaev. Another good one from Chimaev. That jab's getting through for both guys. Oh, another good one from Chimaev. He's busting up the nose now of Sean. That's a thing that's opened up for him now. But he's talking to him now. Oh, that jab is kind of messing up Strickland's face a little bit. There it is again, dude. Chimaev, good jab from Sean. But look at Strickland's face now. I will say this, that Team Chimaev was ready for the right-hand counter of Strickland. They've done a good job of him instinctively getting that hand up. That jab from orthodox by Chimaev is doing some damage, but Sean's landing his own jab too. It's a competitive good round. Oh, I think he just off balanced him. Oh, that jab is starting to hurt him a little bit. I think Chimaev took that one on damage. I mean, Sean got his licks in too, right? Sean got his licks in too, but I think Chimaev won that one. They told him not to blow. If your nose is broken and you blow it to get the blood or snot out, it'll fill up your eye socket. Like it looks like it's broken. You don't want to do that. That's a bad idea. Oh, the crowd was apparently chanting "Fuck you, Khamzat." Okay. All right. I think Khamzat 2 rounds to 1, probably. Something like that. Do you think Strickland knew the weight cut was too much, regardless of any outcome they had sparring in the gym? No. UFC 250 from Fight Island to Epstein Island. All right, that's a good one. All right, here we go. This is much more tranquil between them than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be a whole nightmare to get these two to. Chimaev looks like he's doing pretty good. Let's do it. Round 4. This is a critical round. I think Khamzat's feeling it a little bit. So that jab he's got from Orthodox has been the best thing he's got striking by a million miles. He's a little bit less capable from southpaw, to me, Chimaev. Sean is very good about peeling out to his own left clockwise. Oh, good left hook there. Chimaev is now starting to vary it up. The left hook and then the jab. Sean touching him up too. Another good jab. But yeah, Chimaev on that. Oh, and now the right hand gets through a little bit for Chimaev. Yeah, Chimaev on this jab is devastating right now. Strickland is still moving. Still putting stuff in to block traffic lane, to block punching lanes and put traffic in there. Oh, Chimaev is just missing with that right. Honestly, these guys have pretty similar striking games, not defensively, but offensively. They both got a jab. They both have a cut kick. They both have a back leg teep. Got the occasional hook. Sean will wing a wide right hand a little bit more, but oh, good. Oh, that Chimaev jab then into the body. And it's also the frequency, too. This is a little bit better from Sean. Sean's got to get on the front foot. That's better from him. Like Chimaev's welcoming it, but it's a nice jab from Chimaev. Oof, overhand just misses. Another one just misses. Sean's good about peeling out and then landing the right as a counter. It's kind of a brutal ass way to fight, man. I mean, it's not the worst way to fight I've ever seen, but just endless minutes of getting your face fucking drilled. Pause on that. Chimaev sends him backwards to the fence, like not even shooting at all, man. I think that weight cut fucked him up. I think he feels like he can manage his gas tank doing this. I mean, it's not the greatest showing I've ever seen, but it's getting the job done, I guess. I mean, Khamzat's touching him to the body upstairs. Again, the jab from Orthodox. It's his moneymaker. Sean is certainly not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. His jab is still doing some good work for him. Neither guy can really land a home run shot. So you're just getting both guys kind of getting jabbed to death. which is not nothing. Oh, here's the takedown. Yeah, he got it, obviously. Sean's going to have the energy to get up. The question is, does Khamzat have the energy to hold him down? Chimaev's just going to ride him here. He's just going to buy time. Going to corner ride, pull the post apart. Got to get your hands out of the webbing. Chimaev's going to be tight. Look how tight he is on that body lock, on that how he's collected the outside leg there of Sean. Look at how active he is on hip control. All right. By my count, your mileage may vary. I think it's 3-1 Chimaev. I mean, I don't know if there's 2-2 seems aggressive to me. I don't know that would make a lot of sense. Khamzat had so many opportunities to finish when he had the back. I miss Habib. He didn't quite because he didn't really set it up. And middleweight is such a garbage division. They all suck. Could Chimaev be playing with his food? Felt like a hard spar round 3. He picked it up a little bit that round. Is Sean not leg kicking because of fear of takedowns? Has to be. Or he's just fucking it up. I don't know. But I think that's probably playing a role. Can't stand Sean, but he is a fucking master of hitting on the offbeat and the offbeat of the initial engage when coming together on the reset. Yes, his timing on that is very good. He catches guys between their steps all the time. He's a skilled fighter. He's a very skilled. He's not in this fight by accident, obviously. He's a skilled fighter. And an experienced one, too, right? All right, round 5, boys. All right. Chimaev doesn't use the fence, takes him down in the middle, and then Sean's going to just go to the fence. See? So there's your answer to that one. Chimaev probably feels like he's got enough in the tank to ride out. Let's see if he's going to. Yep, he's going to kick out that post or try to. He's going to drag it. Good job by Sean turning and facing. Chimaev level changes. Can't get it. Still pressing. Looks like he's just going to want Uchimata attempt from Strickland. Now they're in dogfight. Doesn't change much. They're back up, and he might get taken down here. Yep, it's going to give him, and then Sean's going to give up the whizzer, and now Chimaev is back to the tight waist. That was a nice. He attempted what JDM did on, I think, either Gilbert or Bilal, where you fake kind of a judo toss. You don't really have to succeed in it, but it creates enough space to then face him and then turn out. And it didn't quite work, but now they separate. We got 3:48 left in the round. Jab again for Chimaev. There's that one lady just blocking everyone's view in the back. Sit the fuck down, lady. I one time almost got in a fight at the Kimbo Slice versus Ken Shamrock fight. There's a guy standing in front of me. Told him to sit down. I was in media row. He's like, I paid for these seats. I'm like, yeah, enjoy your seat. Good jabs from both guys. Oh. Ooh. Good right hand from Sean. Good right hand. Let's see if he can wrestle some momentum here. Sean's jab is pumping this round. Khamzat is now getting beat to it by his own game. Now it's Sean playing the volume game. The punching mechanics on that right by Sean were awful. These jabs are Sean's winning this round to me thus far. I mean, it's still winnable in either direction, but this is Sean. A good right hand from Chimaev. Hard to land a solid right on Strickland. Strickland's flowing here. Like, obviously, not everything's landing super hard, but shot from Chimaev. He runs him to the fence. He's trying to get the back. He's going to try and put pressure on this whizzer by Sean, and he gives up the whizzer. And now he's working his series. Strickland tried the Uchimata again. Didn't work. I appreciate the good job. He gets the underhook. Let's see if Chimaev tries to collapse it. Nope, they separate. Good job by Strickland. Great job. 38 seconds to go. Chimaev's face is a mess. Strickland's face is a mess. They're swinging. Yeah, man, that's Strickland won that round. Strickland, I mean, I tell you what, I have it 3-2 Chimaev, but honestly, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? I think 3-2 Strickland is very possible. That's Nina Drama blocking everyone's view. That's awesome. Guys, what did you think? I think that is, I had it 3-2 Chimaev, but 3-2 Strickland seems like it's on the table. Crazy we thought going to the fifth would favor Strickland. Well, the fifth itself did. Call me crazy, but they seem real friendly now. Yes, overly friendly. Did they sell all the pre-fight stuff for promo? I mean, obviously, a lot of it was for promo. Sean is an expert at checking leg kicks and utilizing calf kicks. Can't see why he didn't incorporate that. Felt like a winnable fight for Sean. He might have still done it, y'all. Sean should have pressed. Chimaev was saving energy. He did in that second round for sure. Luke telling Nina Drama to sit the fuck down. Oh, that was her. That's hilarious. I didn't know it was her. I'm not trying to start any beef with her. I was just like, oh, some ladies, just sit the fuck down. Strickland started one round too late. Maybe that's true. So much for 9 p.m. start time being a blessing. Yeah, how are we almost 4 hours into this broadcast? I'm so disappointed in Khamzat. I mean, dude, the weight cut wasn't great. And honestly, this is why I think the tape on him, like this guy's talking about going to 205. Come on, calm the fuck down, bro. Calm the fuck down. All right. Oop. All right, we're just showing the highlights here. We're waiting. Now, obviously, once we get these results, we're going to do the post-fight show. So nobody go anywhere, okay? We're going to do results, analysis. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to look at the numbers. We're going to look at the scorecards. We're going to look at all that fun stuff, okay? Oh, he did have a big overhand right, Chimaev did, but I don't know if he won that round. I think Strickland took the fifth. Man, Strickland landed more overall. Chimaev advanced far more. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. 9 takedowns, and he had double the amount of ground control time, such that is relevant. Let's see. It's winnable. It's winnable in either direction. I think so. That isn't to say you might not get like a 49-45 in there. You might. All right, here we go. They're two buddy now. Here we go. Scorecards are as follows. 48-47 Chimaev. 48-47 Strickland. Sean Strickland. Split decision. Wow, man. Wow. 48. So 2 48-47s, 1 48-47 for Chimaev. Wow, man. Dude, I told you. It was either 3-2 Khamzat or 3-2 Sean. Either scorecard is totally acceptable. What Sean Strickland just managed to pull off is fucking insane. We're going to talk about it on the post-fight show. I mean, you can love him or you can hate him, but like none of this was ever supposed to happen for him. That's crazy. All right, here's Joe Rogan. Ray Longo called it, by the way. He's apologizing to his American fans, to all the Muslims and Christians. Says he respects everyone. It's nice to hear. Says Khamzat's a savage. So he admits to trying to sell the fight. Damn, and Strickland's nose is busted. A very conciliatory message from Sean Strickland about all his fans and his gratitude for them. It's nice to hear. I guess they're not going to talk to Khamzat because he left. Two-time UFC champion. Two-time. All right, let me tell Twitter that we're going to go live. And then we're going to go live. Let's do the post-fight show. All right. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Okay, let's get this up, and then we'll get going. Here we go. Sean Strickland is a two-time UFC champion. Where does this accomplishment rank all time at 185 and in UFC championship history? Let's talk about it now. Join me. Here we are. And then we'll put the old hashtag in that biatch. All right. Okay. Let's do it. I'm going to kill this. I'm going to kill this. Let me change something in the way I show this to you real quickly. Don't freak out. We're going to be fine. There we are. Very good. Okay, awesome. I'm going to turn this off. All right. Let's do this. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, man, that was a 4-hour broadcast. They started at 9. They're ending at the same time. It's kind of funny. All right, neither here nor there. UFC 328 is in the books. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Luke Thomas. I really, really appreciate it. All time to reset. So if you've just joined me, we watched the Volkov and the Cortez Acosta fight. We watched the co-main, and then we watched the main event. All right. Now it is time to react. Thumbs up if you haven't already. Please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for being here. There's a lot we have to get to related to that main event, how we scored it, what we saw, what it means for Sean Strickland to be a two-time UFC champion. That is very, very unusual, very special, quite rare. Puts him in the pantheon of a very elite group of fighters in terms of people who are able to accomplish that, particularly within the same weight class, because some were able to change, or guys who would go back and forth between 205 and heavyweight. But this is not that. This was within the same weight class itself. Very, 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 very special what he was able to pull off. So we're going to talk about all of that. If you have a question or a comment about everything you saw on the main card, please, if you'd like, it goes a long way, if you'd consider donating to the super chat. You don't have to. If you just want to hang out, that's cool too. But if you would be so kind, it does a lot for us here. All right? All right. So without further ado, we got a lot to talk about. Let's get this party started. I'm going to get these stats up here. I'm not going to show them just yet, but I'm going to get them up when they're ready so that I can show them. Okay. Very good. And then let's get this up. Sorry, y'all. I got to do this. Okay. All right. Here. Oh, man, this thing is. Yeah, we got these numbers already on this main event. I'm going to set this up. We're going to get going here in just a second. Give me just a moment if you can. All right. Dude, Sean outstruck him numerically in, let's see, neither got a significant strike in round one. Sean got 5 more in round 2. He got 14 more in round 3. He was underwater in round 4, and then he had 9 more in round 5. So he almost outstruck him every round. That's kind of funny, numerically, because there was a round where he got beat up, obviously, a little bit there. All right, let's talk about it. UFC 328. It goes as follows. Sean Strickland defeats Khamzat Chimaev via split decision. 2 scores of 48-47, 1 score of 48-47 for Chimaev, 2 for Sean Strickland. We're going to get the scorecards for you here when they're ready. They're not, are they up just yet? Which one is this for us? This is, you put them in background. You got to put them in, overlay. Here we go. Which one is this? This is the co-main. We'll come back to that one. All right, when we get the main, we'll do that one. Let's talk about it. What would be your biggest takeaway from this bout? What would be your biggest takeaway? Would it be some kind of way Khamzat performed up to or less than expectation? Would it be Sean overcoming certainly the overall odds, and then in particular, I think sort of midway through, it looked like Khamzat had wrestled control back of the fight, and then to have a strong 5th round, because I think he needed that 5th round in order to win. Although I guess we'll see the scoring, but in any case, yes, if it was 48-47, he had to have, yes. But I don't want to start there. Listen, there's a lot of people who, and I understand it because I now do like political coverage explicitly. They think that like that colors everything I have to say about the fight game. And the reality is most people in the fight game don't see the world the way that I do. But that's irrelevant. When a person has achieved at a high level, it is important to give that to them. And in this business where the referees can screw you and the promoter can screw you and your advertisers can steal from you and you can get booed in your own hometown, it's hard to succeed and it's brutal, and you might not have health insurance and you're getting brain damage and you're getting underpaid. Like, if the right guy deserves to win, you absolutely have to honor that, and you have to honor what that achievement means. So let's do that for Sean Strickland, whatever your opinions are of him tonight. That was a ballsy performance from him. Now, it wasn't like highlight reel stuff necessarily, but it was rock solid foundational stuff, both on the offensive end and the defensive end. It looked to me, and I said this pre-fight, I considered the big dark demarcation line in this fight was that if Khamzat wanted to get a takedown, he's going to get a takedown. And sure enough, he got 9 of them. Like, they didn't seem like, well, with some noteworthy exception, in general, they did not seem hard to come by. And he was able to get the back. He was able to get mount or, strong half guard with a Turk or something like that. But Sean Strickland's defensive savvy in these positions to never really get too close to a submission. There was a couple attempts that you saw there from Chimaev to go over the face, but even those weren't very close from the back. So in other words, not really putting himself in fight-ending scenarios, not really bad ones maybe, but not fight-ending ones. Constantly building height, constantly getting his base underneath, constantly fighting grip, constantly standing, underhooking, turning, facing, just being patient. Even if you're losing, just keep digging, just constantly keep digging your way out of it, or climbing your way out of it, whatever the proper metaphor is. And that's exactly what he did. And eventually it worked. Now, there was a lot of riding time that went in, particularly in that first round, but he was basically able to answer that. You can't really stop Khamzat's takedowns overall. He's going to have a bad round. He's going to have a bad shot. Sure. And those matter, and those are critical potentially. But in general, if he's on, his wrestling is just way better than everybody else's. However, his finishing setups are not that great. He likes to climb to position without really ever hurting people. And it's harder to hurt people because people are really standing these days. But he's not especially good at hurting opponents who are resisting while they're standing. He can cover on corner rides. He can cover by getting, his gripping sequences going behind the armpits, wrestling you to your hands. He can do that. He can take the back. He can switch from the back to mount. He can do stuff. He's got some skills. But he's not like the Kamaru Usman fight was like this. The DDP fight was like this. And now the Strickland fight is like this. Now you have 3 fights you can look at and you're like, his ability to get there is unique and special. His ability to finish from there is somewhat overrated. It's somewhat overrated. And of course, some of that is mounted crucifix, not so much the back. But you get my point. To be in a significantly advantageous grappling position and not being able to do that. We'll talk about the Khamzat side in a minute. We're giving Sean Strickland his props right off the break. He was excellent there. He wasn't perfect. He had to get out of bad spots constantly, but he did. He did. He absolutely did. He passed that test in as much as somebody can pass a test against someone as dominant a grappler and a wrestler as Khamzat Chimaev. To say nothing of how some of the down blocking was great. Again, some of the underhooking and turning was great. He was able to get some strikes off in the clinch. He was really, really good today. Again, relatively speaking, he got taken down 9 times, but look who won. It's the first thing I want to say. So just real solid defensive fundamentals, real veteran savvy, real you want someone who can be calm and make thoughtful decisions in duress. And a lot of what Chimaev's game is he's trying to bully you and almost kind of speed chess you into a mistake. And then he wants to snatch a quick, throat, or he wants to land a big bomb because you didn't see it coming or something like that. He likes to have a big, almost not a sneak attack, but, he's looking for something some low-hanging fruit. And Sean just never really gave it to him. Not consistently, not for any amount of time he could ever really do anything with. And I just feel like it's extremely important to point that out. That's not just a battle of skill. That is absolutely a battle of will. That is a battle of will. You have to steel your mind to not get frustrated, to know an escape is always possible, to constantly be frustrating the other guy so that he's really occupying. Your defense is occupying his offense. So he's still the one in offensive control, but you're you're throwing sand in his gears every single chance you get. Sean Strickland did that tonight. On the feet, it was more, I think, of a mixed bag, because I do think it's important to say that Sean Strickland had great moments striking, but so did Chimaev. Chimaev's third round to me I think it was the third or the fourth round, where he was really busting him up with the jab. That was great by Chimaev. From orthodox, he was able to really get that jab going. Couldn't really ever get the right hand going. Neither guy really got the right hand going. But on the Sean Strickland side of things, finding a way to push through off the jab, again, even at times where you're getting taken down the first round, you're getting your nose broken and bloodied in the third round, and you're still just kind of pumping the jab, moving, waiting for him to get slow. He was splitting Chimaev's guard. Chimaev was doing this, and the jab was splitting it, constantly. That jab, dude, that jab was able to like steal rounds back. That jab was able to steal momentum. That jab was able to just kind of like invest punishment on it. Again, the right hand wasn't so much behind it. There was at times, obviously, at times he got a good right hand through, but he was just constant. He was throwing the kitchen sink at this guy from all different angles, timing, putting stuff together, a lot of head hunting. But he stood in there with a big puncher. We know Chimaev can be a big puncher. He was frustrating to him constantly. And, sometimes people dock Sean Strickland for not having like prettier offense, or, oh, what do people say? All he can do is jab and teep. And it's not to say that it's not altogether an unfair critique. He doesn't have like a ton of different weapons that he uses. But dude, he just recaptured a UFC middleweight title with the thing that he did better than anything else in terms of the striking was a jab. Like that is like, you have to be both committed to it. You have to know how to use it. You have to be good at using it. And there has to be something like you have to complement it obviously with other efforts, right? You can't just stand there and pump it. Like you have to be on the move. Your timing has to be good. It's all these other auxiliary skills and knowledge that has to go to power or something like that. If that is going to be your primary striking weapon, and then again, to having your shit broken and you're still in the other guy's face through the end of round 5 trying to punish him, dude, it's just very, very, very elite toughness. He's got his nose, I think, fucked up in fights before, and it's obviously insanely painful. And it's not like, oh, this is, I mean, he's got, look at all the different setups of pick your, Anderson Silva or Izzy, or, I don't know, he beat Izzy, but you know what I mean? Like Izzy had the flashy combinations. He doesn't have that. He just it's kind of funny. Like his game really is kind of it is like a bit of a blue collar kind of thing, It's not super fancy, nor does he want it to be, but it's super tough. It's super fucking durable. It's super experienced. It's for sure battle tested, and it's consistent, and he'll jackhammer it with you for as long as that bout goes. And if you're not careful, he'll take your fucking title from you, which is exactly what he did today. Dude, this is so he's impressive on the defensive effort. And by the way, I think, to me, he's not the only one who's done this, and it's hard to say DDP did this to him. I think it's more something that showed up in the DDP fight. And similarly, I would say, the Usman fight is like that too. But now you have, like, dude, his takedown defense and his resistance to advancement on the ground. Less so the takedown defense, but his resistance to advancement on the ground. I think he helped change the way people are going to see Khamzat Chimaev after this bout. So it's worth considering. The guy took on the boogeyman and made him look lesser than in a few different respects, actually. Khamzat's good enough where he's going to get his licks in, metaphorically and otherwise, but he did it to him. But that's not even what I want to talk about. I want to talk about something else. Let me pull this up here real quick. Let's do this. We now have added we've now added Sean Strickland to two-time UFC champions. Now, some of these ones, all these ones did it across 2 different weight classes. Hold on, I don't want a double champ. I want to see. Let's see. 1 second. All right, here we go. Okay. Fighters who have lost their belt and then won it back. Let me read you the names that I have. And this may not be complete, but just listen to what I have. Okay. Listen to these names. I'm going to read you names of fighters in UFC who had a title, lost it, and regained it. Okay. Here we go. Randy Couture. George St. Pierre lost it to Massaro, won it back. Amanda Nunes lost her belt to, to Pena, got it back. Dominic Cruz lost his, got it back. Jose Aldo, same thing. Cain Velasquez lost it to JDS, got it back. Davison Figueiredo lost a flyweight title, got it back. TJ Dillashaw, same. Izzy, right, had the big win over, actually the last one he's ever had, over Poatan. And then Petr Yan would be the 16th, I think, male champion to have done it. There might be some other ones that I didn't list here. Listen to the fucking names that I just read you. Couture, St. Pierre, Nunes, Cruz, Aldo, Velasquez, Figueiredo, Dillashaw, Izzy, Jan. And again, there might be some other ones that I didn't even include there. Add Sean Strickland to the list. Sean Strickland's name is now added to that list. That's insane. Strickland's game has always been good enough on both the offensive and defensive end that he didn't necessarily wow you with firepower, but you had to respect how technically thorough it was and how effective it was for what it would need to be. It wasn't perfectly effective or perfectly, defensively where you wanted it, but it had to be something special and consistent, and you got that from him. In MMA, I want you to understand something. Getting a UFC title is statistically almost, it happens, but I'm saying, like, if you just think about the number of MMA fighters who ever want to try to get a UFC title, how many fall short? Like, it is the rarest thing in the world. And the even rarer thing is, by the way, Shevchenko, you put on that list too, I think, to lose your belt and then fight your way back to it. That speaks to unmistakable championship pedigree. That is what that means. And you have to accept it because it's true. I'm not saying anybody can be a UFC champion because that's not true. But I've seen people who capture UFC titles and it didn't last too long, or people who ended up being weird footnotes, or, they had a one big night, but then they couldn't sustain it. But to get the belt, lose it, fight your way back to even earn an opportunity at it, and then beat, by the way, the guy who was on an 8-fight win streak before this, stop him and Fluffy Hernandez, and then to go beat the Boogeyman, which basically nobody had beaten up to that point, by putting it on him and pressing in the 5th round. Dude, that is without question not somebody, he luck boxed his way into the Izzy fight. Even if you want to say that, he didn't luck into shit. Yes, he didn't necessarily win somebody else. Imavov deserved the title shot. Okay, fine. You can make that argument. But I'm talking about once the bell rang, once Herb Dean clocked him in for work, he earned that shit. He fought that guy to the very last second, fucked up the whole time. If you recapture a UFC title, there is absolutely zero fucking question the caliber of fighter you have achieved yourself, the status you have earned yourself into. It cannot be taken from you. That is 1 billion% to his core. That is a real champion, dude. That's a real champion. You have to respect the achievement. It's just too difficult to deny him. It's just too difficult. It's what happened tonight, statistically speaking, should not have happened. How hard it is to get a title and then beat, the great Izzy to do it. The two big names, that's who fucking Sean Strickland had to beat. He had to beat the second best middleweight of all time and then the new guy who was the Boogeyman. To do that in enemy territory the first time, relatively speaking. I mean, I know the crowd kind of turned in his favor, but you know what I'm saying? You had to fly out to fucking Australia. And then kind of go on a sojourn where you lose it to Drickus. You have to fight it again. Both of those don't go great. You had the Paulo Costa fight, which was fine. You won it, but it wasn't impressive. And then you go and you beat the brakes off of Fluffy Hernandez. And then you have to go and fight Khamzat Chimaev, and you're never supposed to be here to begin with. And now you got to beat the Boogeyman, and he did it. He didn't just beat, this isn't like, he beat Dave Monet and Phil Baroni era middleweights. He beat Izzy, took the belt from him, and he beat Khamzat fucking Chimaev. And he did it fair and square both times. Both times he convinced 3 judges, basically, or 2 judges, 5 judges, basically. He convinced them to give it to him. And he was right. I mean, again, I thought it was 3-2 Chimaev, but 3-2 for Strickland is totally fine. It's totally fine. It's an acceptable scorecard. He won. I just want everyone to know. You might be watching this and you might be like, yeah, I love Sean Stick. I don't. I do not like his shtick. The shit he says drives me insane. I just don't like it. But on a night like tonight, when guys do what they do, I hope that anyone else out there who may not like Sean Strickland, I'm not telling you to change the way that you view it. Again, there might be plenty of you watching who love him. That's fine too. But I'm not talking to I don't need to like convince you to give this guy his props. I'm talking to the people who might be reluctant to. You have to. You have to. Defensively, sound as shit. Offensively, narrow and somewhat limited, but like a dog on a bone, pushing on it. And then to add your name to the list of the Velasquezes and the Aldos and the St. Pierres and the Coutures and the Izzies and the Jans and the Dillashaws, to put your name and the Shevchenkos in the pantheon of that, beating the second best middleweight of all time and then beating the boogeyman, dude, like you gotta give it fucking up. You gotta give it up. That is unmistakable championship pedigree. Now, did you love the fight personally? I don't know. Maybe you guys feel like you liked it. Maybe you didn't. I'll say this. I didn't think that fight was like super entertaining, although I didn't think it was boring by any stretch. But that's actually not why but I love the fight. And the reason why is because, okay, did I not say the people who were watching this before and on Friday's tape study, I've had lingering doubts about Khamzat. Sean proved that those doubts were justifiable. They did. And I wasn't sure. I knew Sean was tough, and I knew he didn't have again, like the most razzle-dazzle offense, but I knew that he could do shit late. But was he going to be able to? Sure enough, he did. This is an achievement that will make criticism of him infinitely more difficult for people who don't want to, or people who want to engage in that. Because again, I'm not saying anyone can win a title, but there is I mean, you do it twice, man. And again, not just like, understand something. He didn't lose it and then get an immediate rematch and then get it back. Right? That's not what happened. He kind of went on a tour. We had to kind of come back. And I know he had another shot against Drickus, but I'm saying like that didn't go right. And then he got another one. Now, again, part of the story is he kind of got a few cracks at it. That's true too. But it doesn't matter. Like to come around here and to do it against a guy like Chimaev is incredible. By the way, Drickus got shit online for picking Strickland. I think he was right. Obviously, Ray Longo picked Strickland. Dean Thomas picked Strickland. Like these old heads, they seem, old men are annoying because they're not cool anymore and they're rude and they're, no one wants them around sometimes. But they're the best because they're right more often than they're wrong, and they don't give a fuck what you think, and it's worth listening to them even when it sounds kind of crazy, But that's a hell of a performance by Sean Strickland. Honestly, he might end up getting in the UFC Hall of Fame with something like this. I mean, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. Maybe he goes and gets viciously KO'd in his next fight. MMA is so weird. One night you're on top, and then the next night you come out and you're like, look at Izzy. He goes and he knocks out Poatan in one of the biggest fucking fights in UFC history, certainly in that division's history. And then he hasn't won a fight since. You know what I mean? The fight game is weird like that. But on a night like tonight, Sean Strickland is your UFC middleweight champion. And I mean, he had to do it the hard way. I understand he got some promotional favoritism, but like, the path was, when I say the hard way, I don't mean that he didn't get some promotional favoritism. He did. So let me correct that because it's a little bit misleading. But what I do mean to say is the path, nevertheless, even if the fortunes of UFC have smiled upon him, they were just grueling efforts the whole way. And still to a degree, even with some promotional favoritism, quite unlikely. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, I think we got, here we go. Let's look at the scorecard. All right, here's the scorecard. So this is the scorecard for the main event. I'm looking at this the first time too. So, okay. Sal D'Amato and Eric Colon have it the same. They gave round 1 to Chimaev, obviously. They gave rounds 2 and 3 to Strickland. That's a little surprising to me. They gave round 4 to Chimaev. That's fine. And then they gave round 5 to let's see. They gave round 5 to Strickland, but Sue Sanidad gave it to Chimaev. Did not win round 5, in my opinion. That's an easy round to give. The round for me, I'm a little surprised, is round 3, but they all gave it to Strickland. I know Strickland numerically outstruck him. I felt like some of the heavier shots came from Chimaev, but I suppose not, right? They're there. So there you have it. So really the only round that they didn't unanimously agree on is round 5, which is I didn't see that as a swing round. Maybe you guys did. That's a strange one to me. Huh. All right. Well, enough of that. All right, let's see what we got here. Is Dana speaking? Okay. Crazy stat. Khamzat, DDP, Izzy, Whitaker, and Weidman all had 9-fight win streaks and all had 9-fight win streaks and all won the 10th. That is quite crazy. All right. Let's look at the numbers on this fight. I'm going to show them to you. This ought to be fun. So we know that Sean was headhunting. Here. Let's do this. All right. Let's do this one. Okay. Sean is the top, Chimaev is top line. Strickland is the secondary line. 9 of 13 takedowns. He got 7 minutes and some change of control time, but control time is not just time on top. It can be time pressing. So it's not exactly after a takedown necessarily. Let's take a look at the round by rounds here. Dude, neither of them landed a significant strike in round 1. I didn't love that so much, but I guess if you get 2 takedowns and 4:47 of control time, I guess you win. All right, round 2. Again, numerically, Strickland outstruck him. There was no question in my mind. We haven't even talked about round 2. We're going to talk about it in just a second. He fails on those 2 takedowns. Dude, Chimaev looked like he was completely gassed in round fucking 2. How is that possible? I know the answer is he had a terrible cut, but dude, what? How is that possible? How is it possible you fell apart in round 2? This is the thing that kills me about Chimaev. He'll have fights where you're like, oh man, he kind of didn't look like himself. And I'm not blaming that at all because he kind of rebounded in this fight and all's fair that you like the fight is what the fight is. Sean won it. Like, I'm not using it as any kind of grading on a curve thing. But I'm saying like some fights he'll come out and be like, and then the next fight he'll like, oh, he won't have any of these issues. And I'm like, dude, are you like that still? Like, I'm not fragile is not the right word, but mercurial with your health. I don't quite understand why it goes like this. All right, round 3. I thought, and again, Strickland numerically outstruck him, so fair enough. But that's a quantitative total, not qualitative. And then you see in round 4, all the judges gave him round 4. I agree. Chimaev won round 4. He also got that takedown. Not much control time to speak of, but again, it was tight here. It was a little bit better. And then to me, Strickland, I thought pretty clearly won round 5. He gets 6 takedowns out of 7, but only 1 minute and 31 of control time. I mean, that's not a lot of bang for your buck on this one. Targeting, it's all going to be to the face. I don't really care about that, right? Let's look at the significant strike targeting. Yeah, Chimaev trying to break it up a little bit. I thought he could have gone more to the legs. He didn't. Sean just almost exclusively headhunting, and there you have it. Not too surprising on anything there. So it kind of brings up, okay, let's talk about this. Like, what did we learn about Khamzat Chimaev tonight? Because that's the other kind of part. Like, I've been singing Strickland's praises. It's kind of important to talk about Chimaev now here as well. I'm going to say it again, man. You're going to say, oh, Johnny come lately on this. No, I mean, I think I did. I picked Chimaev to win. I thought that was the likeliest thing. Again, I also think a 3-2 score for him is fair. It was a split decision, so one judge agreed. Again, a weird scorecard on that 5th. I don't quite get that. Doesn't matter. I watched that tape with everyone on my Substack, and I said out loud, and I said to myself, and I published all this, and I was like, I'm sorry, I just have doubts about the guy. When he can blow through someone's defenses with like a takedown, then he's hopping on the back, and he's fighting guys who are, let's say, outside the top 5, where the defense, like once it falls apart, their psyche might fall apart. They're just naturally just not as good. Like there's details that are missing. Or in the case of Whitaker, like if you guys recall, like he tapped immediately. Like once the choke was on, it was like an instantaneous tap. And even the commentators were like, "Wow," because he had a pre-existing injury from like childhood, even. I was like, it's not like he's not doing good work, but like he's not definitively like blowing the doors off these guys. Yeah, okay, the leech, fine, but like, against Kamaru, against DDP, like he couldn't put him away. Like they kind of just lasted. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I just had questions about his ability. Like, oh, he's got dynamite submissions, and I'm like, I mean, he has good submissions. Dynamite, I don't know if I know, like, what's happened. Strickland on the post fight, and his nose is 2 times the size, and his face is going purple. Yeah, bro, that's gonna be a long flight home to Vegas. Fuck me. Sorry. I'll come back to this. I got the stat wrong. Someone's feeding me stats here. I got the stat wrong. The stat was that Khamzat, DDP, Izzy, Whitaker, and Weidman all had 9-fight win streaks and then lost their 10th. Okay. But getting back to Khamzat, dude, it is harder than ever to hold somebody down. You saw that in the co-main event. You've seen that in many places. Some guys are really good at it. Sean Brady, we'll talk about him. We're going to talk about the co-main event too. But it's harder than ever to hold guys down. And if you can't hurt them while you have them down, like that's going to cost you at the elite level. And, different divisions are going to be tougher with how they handle that than others. At middleweight, as you can tell, it's going to give you a lot of leash to go and not really have to worry about the rest of it. But I am like Khabib, honestly, dude, like what I loved about Khabib's game is he was moving you through wrestling. He had body locks, he had trips, he had hip attacks, he had leg attacks, high crotches, doubles, singles, Harai Goshis, Uchimatas, Tai Toshis. He had the whole thing. And then on the ground, he's wrestling you to your hands. He's pounding on you. He gets you to your back. He's threatening submissions. Like he's making you play this game where you're just trying to break out from quicksand that, and I don't know what the exact metaphor would be, but like he's just constantly like pulling you into this punishing offensive system, and he plays it off of each other. Now his system had limits too, to be quite clear, but like that kind of thing it's like Chimaev doesn't have that. Chimaev, like, think about the best ground and pound against the like pull up his record here. I'll pull up his fucking record. Chimaev, let's go through this. Did he have tremendous ground and pound tonight? No. Dricus du Plessis, I know he was landing on him significant, like numerically a lot. He only landed 37 significant strikes in that entire bout, real ones. I'm not talking those little chip shots he couldn't do anything with. No, not really. Robert Whitaker didn't last very long, fair enough, but there wasn't a lot of ground and pound on that one either. Kamaru Usman, nope. Kevin Holland didn't last very long. Gilbert Burns, not really, a little bit, but not really. The Leech didn't last that long. Jared here knocked out before, and now we're talking about guys we're not even remotely on the same level of what we're talking about. This is what I mean. He does not have tremendous ground and pound. He has tremendous ability to get the takedown, to get to the back, to get to mount, and the ability to ride. Not much more against the elite. Not against sub-elite, sure, he's going to mow right through him. Fine. Against the elite, there are holes in his game. And that's just the reality. So to me, it's like, I think Sean Strickland, I'm not going to use the word exposed tonight, but I think you learned a lot tonight about Khamzat Chimaev, good and bad. But on the bad side, dude, I'm sorry to say, he looks terrifying. There are parts of his game that are terrifying, but I think his offense beyond wrestling and positional control prior to tonight, and I'm not saying I didn't buy into it because I bought into it too. I think this was one of those things where you get now a more accurate read. I think his offense was a little overhyped. Yes, he has big power and he can strike a little bit. That's true. Like, again, I thought he made a respectable effort out of this for as long as he could. But it's got limits, man. It's not overwhelming. He was better tonight. He was very good about, getting the hand up to avoid the right hand counter. I thought that was a nice little wrinkle that he had added that he didn't have before. I like the way that he pressed for the most part, but like, dude, it's not like super sophisticated. Neither is Sean's, but it's also, he has a hard time with consistency of effort. in certain cases. So, when he's riding, he's the best at that. I mean, that's the thing he's really, really, really gifted at. But like on the feet, he's got inconsistent effort, inconsistent output, inconsistent and there's not a lot of trickery to it either. Like the feints and stuff and the level changes, like they're not. He doesn't have very good feinting. So I still think he could get a rematch and he could win. I don't think. I mean, look at the distance between them. It was a very, very close fight. It's not like he can't get the title back himself. But Sean Strickland gave us a much better answer tonight. Now we've got finally, I think, somebody who had to answer for very specific things, very specific scenarios, and then very specific questions around Chimaev's weaknesses. And you got some pretty good answers. They're not like everyone's going to be able to, now he laid the blueprint, anyone's going to be able to beat him. No, it's not that. But I do think that you learned enough about Chimaev where I think some of his evaluation about what kind of threat he poses should be to a degree downgraded a little bit. Yeah, I do believe that. I don't know what the rest of the internet is saying, but I believe that. I believe that completely. And I think this notion of him going to 205, people were asking me about this, and I was like, dude, like he hasn't, like, no. This was supposed to be a title defense. He didn't give one. No. 205, no. You're absolutely 1 billion% not ready for that. Like, maybe if it's a weight cut issue, because whatever reason he can't make 85 anymore, that's different. But like, oh, you're ready to, you're too good for middleweight? No, there's a hole in his game. And let this be a lesson to everyone, man. Like, dude, holding someone down in modern MMA is harder than it has ever been. People need to start reevaluating their offense to adjust accordingly. And I don't think that's happened enough yet. And there's many, many ways to adjust it, but I need to see it. We've got some updates from Sean at the post-fight press conference. Apparently he looks like shit. His face is purple. Strickland says he apologized for going too far in the pre-fight. That's always my favorite thing, is when I'm like, oh yeah, Sean Strickland went too far. And then his fans are like, no, the fuck he didn't. Shut the fuck up. And they call me, various slurs. And then after the fight, he's like, yeah, I definitely went way too far. Here he is again. Quote, I never go into a fight thinking I will win, but being a man is not listening to those thoughts, and go try to be who you want to be. Okay. The little Japanese kid in the co-main, fuck, his balls are a lot bigger than mine. Yeah, dude. Taira is a beast. Dana White says that he had the main event scored even heading into the final round and scored round 5 for Strickland. That's a reasonable scorecard. White thought Acosta won the fight against Volkov, but the matchmakers had it for Volkov. We'll talk about a little bit of that one. I don't have a whole lot to say, and I'll come back to Dana White here in just a moment. So in any event, man, Sean Strickland, on a personal level is not my cup of tea. On a professional level is a no bullshit, real deal championship pedigree fighter out of the middleweight division, unmistakably at this point, and has had to do really difficult things to achieve greatness against uniquely difficult opponents. And he did, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. And I'm sure he'll get plenty. Okay, let's talk now about that co-main event. And of course, if you have a question, you want to talk about this thing or anything else, fire that into the super chat. Let's talk about that co-main. Josh Van defeats Tatsuro Taira via, let's see, this was in the 5th round at, I think, at 132 of round number 5. Man, so Taira comes out like a bat out of hell. He gets 4 takedowns in the first round, 3.5 minutes of control time. Round 2, he gets 1 takedown, and he does get 2.5 minutes of control time as well. But Josh Van basically boxes him up in that round. It doesn't go particularly well. Round 3, he nearly gets stopped. He gets knocked down. He gets viciously beat up in that round. I didn't think he was going to be able to make it. Round 4, he somehow finds a way to come back. So I had it kind of like 2-2, maybe 3-1, depending on how you wanted to score it. But certainly a good rebound effort from Taira. And then in round 5, he was already so kind of fucked up. Josh Van really began to move downhill on him, stopped him with a combination to the body and to the head. It was a good stoppage. He was getting beat up. He was really hurt. His face was a mess. I did not see Enswell in the corner of Taira being used between rounds, which I thought was a very suspect call. I don't know. I'm not a professional cut man, but I don't quite get that one. In any event, Josh Van, that was a phenomenal performance. Once again, he had different mechanisms to stand. He likes to stand when he gets taken down and flattened. He likes to work from guard. He doesn't like to give up his back, which he used to give up his back a lot along the fence, but if he's not along the fence, he'll use double butterfly to stand. You saw that multiple times, just enough to sit up, and he can either use a stand or he can run the person back into the fence. He can do a technical stand up once he gets the underhook and sits up. He uses the two hands on the hips, and then he puts his legs up and he kind of just shimmies until he gets his knees past the hip line. And from there, he's able to stand. It's a very, very noteworthy because you kind of you force the person, you almost kind of carry their weight, but you kind of force a reaction for them to balance with their own hands. I mean, they'll still punch you depending, but it's a great escape to use because it's high percentage and it works in MMA. And on the feet, dude, Taira, the guts of Tatsuro Taira tonight really deserves to be complimented. But Josh Van retaining his title, proving that once again, man, if you want grappling to work in modern MMA, you need to impose that shit. And imposing it has never, ever, ever been harder. It is very hard to impose good grappling. And Taira got close. He had that one triangle attempt. What round was that? That was round. They gave him a credit for it. They gave him credit for that in round 3. No, that was the Josh Van. Oh, Josh Van tried to get one. They did not give one to Taira, but he had that one triangle attempt, which I appreciated. That was a nice attempt. That was a good try. Certainly, it sets up a great fight between Van and Pantoja, a rematch. I don't know when that will be, but in terms of Van, he needs a lot of reps and he needs a lot of just time to get better, and he's getting better rapidly. Obviously, he's the champion, but you can see there's still some limits to his game. But the parts that he is good at, the reason he's good at is I'm sure he's athletic and I'm sure he works hard. You can tell it is natural. The striking in particular, the ground he's working on, it's not quite natural, but he's making it good, very good defensively. But on the feet, it's natural. His jab was pumping, the combinations, the body head work. I mean, he was catching Taira walking into stuff. Again, Taira didn't really move his head, so he was blasting his face with the jab over and over and over again. None of it was hardly missing. Taira could not really get out of the way of it. He was on the back foot. It didn't matter if he circled left or right. He was running into it. Taira abused him on the feet. Abused him. He was far better. He was vastly better. So I appreciate Taira's great grappling skill. I appreciate Taira's ability to find the back. I appreciate, just how much he was able to move to mount or pass the side and how overwhelming this was. But man, you got to put something else behind it. You got to put something else. But we're going to talk about Sean Brady because he couldn't get the finish either. But I like what he offers in that scenario a lot more than some of the other guys. I don't really know what to say about this fight other than I thought Taira was a little rushed. I thought the guts that he showed were outrageous. I could not believe he came out with that 4th round and then won it. That was shocking to me. I was like, let's look at the scorecard for what they have. I think we've got one here. This is they didn't finish. Yeah, look. Wow, Eric Colon gave the 4th round to Van. Are you fucking high? Okay. That's a little Ricardo Almeida. Yeah, Ricardo knows. Almeida knows what time it is, man. This is the right scorecard right here on the left. The pink one. That's the right one. Almeida's a beast. He knows what's up. So there you have it. It's a nice win. It's a great win. It's just, I just feel like I'm not going to say I'm not sold on Van. I want to be very clear. That's not what I'm saying. He's clearly good. He might be the best flyweight alive. But I just feel like when you're still relatively new in your game, there are ways for even less talented but more senior fighters to kind of get you trapped in ways you may not necessarily see coming because they're not better than you, but they've seen more, and that by itself is a little bit of a superpower. And I wonder if he might fall victim to that. I think that's something I'm going to be paying attention to. But I can't wait for the rematch. I don't really know who else in this division. The Manel Cop one will be fun if they end up making that. The Horiguchi fight will be good if they end up making that. By the way, there's still no Japanese-born Japanese fighter becoming a UFC champion tonight. That's unfortunate that still kind of continues. But fun fight. Fun fight for as long as it lasted. All right. What do we have here? I don't even know what to say about this. Volkov defeating Waldo Cortez Acosta. Unanimous decision. I think it was 229-28 and then 130-27. I didn't get the 30-27 part on that. I didn't quite understand where they got that from. But 29-28 is justifiable to me. I thought Cortez Acosta got it. I thought he did the heavier work. I don't know what the numbers showed. Let me see. Let's see what the numbers showed. Yeah, Volkov was just busier. Volkov numerically outstruck him in all 3 rounds. He was busier for sure. But I just thought some of the better work was done via Acosta, but not Cortez Acosta, but not necessarily. I mean, I don't think the UFC really knows what to do with Volkov, but at this point, you got to put him in a big fight because he has earned it. He certainly looked fleet of foot. He looked the best I've ever seen him physically in this fight. He still is, heavy and plodding in his footwork, but nevertheless, pretty good. Nice win. I don't think Cortez Acosta is done winning at heavyweight by any stretch of the imagination. You know what I mean? Like, he'll beat other guys soon. But for Volkov, it's kind of been like he needed this to right the wrong of the Gane fight. He deserves a title shot. I'm not saying he's going to get it next with all the shit that's going on, but he kind of deserves it. Then it takes us to Sean Brady defeating Joaquin Buckley. 2 of the scorecards were 30-25 on this one. Dude, Sean Brady's ability to hold people down in MMA is the best, maybe currently in the UFC. It's fucking insane how good he is at that. He makes it look effortless, but that is not the thing that I love. He doesn't necessarily go to mount or the back right away, although he did in this fight, certainly the mount. He'll go to half guard. And what is he doing there? He is threatening the Kimura, and if he doesn't get the Kimura, then he reaches behind for the guillotine. So he's threatening one of those 2, and then if he can't get that, then he'll just use it to pass from half guard to mount. That's the dilemma. I'm either going to go for the Kimura. I'm either going to go for if not that, then I'll go for the guillotine. If I can't get the guillotine, I'll go for the pass. If I can't get the pass, I'll go for the Kimura, and on and on and on and on and on. I love that. And then he's got great top pressure to hold them down while being offensive. That's how he got Leon, by the way. This is what I'm talking about. That's what I mean about, like, and again, Brady's fighting whoever he's fighting. Khamzat's fighting different people. I'm not saying it would all work if Brady had the same opportunity. I'm just pointing out, like, when he gets it, his ability to keep people down while keeping his offense alive. And it's not going to work every time, but he's threatening with it. I love that. Now, I will say, when he was in mount, and again, his mount is exquisite, but like when he's in mount, he's kind of throwing these like George of the Jungle punches rather than like slashing elbows or 12-6, which is now legal. Grapplers, if you are good at getting mount in MMA and holding mount in MMA, you need to realize immediately, the thing that you need to advance your situation there is elbows and ground and pound. The punches from mount are not going to cut it because you're not going to be able. It's good. You're going to be able to anchor a little bit. You don't have chest to chest pressure, so you have distance to go. But at the same time, it's just not powerful enough. You got to get your elbows involved and really start slashing these fucking guys up. That's the key to this one. But he didn't get that. Nevertheless, he did just completely control Buckley. For Buckley, he took all that time off after the Usman fight, and then he gets completely held down here. Now, Brady's got skills that not a lot of people got. It wasn't an easy assignment for Buckley. He did stuff some takedowns. How many did he stuff? Let's see. How many did he stuff? He stuffed 4. Brady got 4 of 10. So he stuffed 6 of them, Buckley did, but not enough. Not enough. Did he get a takedown every round? Yes. If you get a takedown every round, it doesn't matter if you got, 3 minutes and 12 seconds in round 1 control time, 4.5 minutes in round 2, and almost 4.5 in round 3. I mean, this was a done deal. A done deal, if ever there was one. Getting back to the post-fight presser, Chimaev told Dana White after the fight that he wants to move to light heavyweight, and Dana says that is exciting. Really? Is it just because of the weight cut? Dana on whether he'll be promoting the Fury-Joshua boxing match. Let's see what happens. Okay. White says that Freedom 250 will be the biggest viewing audience for any UFC event, and it won't even be close. Okay. Jim Miller has just signed a new 5-fight agreement with UFC. Next fight would be his 51st. That's insane. Jim Miller is a fucking legend, boy. Let me tell you about that. That's incredible what he's been able to do. Okay, but that's your Brady and Buckley breakdown for me. I really love Brady's game. Big rebound after losing to Morales. Tough setback for Buckley here. Tough setback. Just not enough defensive grappling skill. And it's going to be tough against Brady, but just not enough. And then Bobby Green beating the fuck out of Jeremy Stevens. Jeremy Stevens, I don't know what we're doing. He's 29-23 in his career of overall. Like, he doesn't seem very resilient to punching anymore. He'll be 40 in May. But King Green, always kind of fun as shit to watch, right? He's always great. Good boxing, good combos there. Yaroslav Amosov defeating Joel Alvarez on the prelims. Holy shit. Amosov is a beast. What a fun signing he's turned out to be. Of course, we all knew he was great in Bellator. That first fight with Logan Storley was awesome. But and some other ones too. But to see him thrive in UFC is great. It's been really, really great to see. Love seeing that. What else did I really enjoy on this one? Grant Dawson got the finish, but didn't love it. Jim Miller getting the guillotine off the transition from the takedown against Jared Gordon was sick. Roman Kopylov showing the worst fight IQ that ever was in rocking Marco Tulio multiple times and deciding to fucking wrestle him. Pat Sabatini gets the win over Gomes. Nobody cares. Bisangar Susarkayev defeating Jordan Santos. I'm not sold on Susarkayev, man. I guess he broke his hand. We'll see. Jose Ochoa, by the way, though, beating Clayton Carpenter. That was a nice win by Jose Ochoa. He boxed the balls off of Clayton Carpenter, and Tatsuro Taira tonight took beatings, but showed real dog spirit. So I give him credit to that. All right. If you got a question for the post fight, fire that sucker into the super fight. Let's go. Let's see. They sold us Boars tickets, not Wolf tickets. Strickland won. Christ is king and new. All right. Luke, has Chimaev answered the questions you had? Yes. Yes. The doubts that I had, they were well-founded. It turned out. Yes. Yes. Thank you for becoming a member. Is Strickland a Hall of Famer now? I honestly think he might end up there. I think a win like this, people are going to say, oh, he does jabs and teeps. All right. That's, it's not altogether unfair. But, you just look at here. By the way, let's look at Strickland's resume. All right, these are his wins. Okay, these are his wins. Overall, 31-7. His wins are Khamzat Chimaev, Anthony Hernandez, Paulo Costa, Israel Adesanya, Abus Magomedov, Nasruddin Imavov, the current number one contender, Jack Hermanson, Uriah Hall, Christoph Jocko, Brendan Allen, Jack Marshman, Nordine Taleb, and now we're getting into some, now we're all the way back, by the way, and at welterweight, and even at welterweight, he had some nice wins, but he lost, listen to his losses. Santiago Ponzinibbio, he lost to Kamaru Usman, he lost to Elizeu, he got stopped in the first round by Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. Then he loses to Poatan, Jared Cannonier. He lost to Jared Cannonier. Now, that was controversial. It was split, but still. Loses to Dricus the first time. Loses to Dricus again. It's not like he's had a perfect run by any stretch. But of late, man, he's hit another gear in the last, I don't know, 2 fights, yes, but it feels like maybe the last year and some change, 2 years maybe, something like that. Where I think in general, since the loss to no, because even before that, he beat Izzy. Dude, he's this last chapter, since 2023 or so, he's really kind of turned it on. Yeah, because he lost in that last card of the year in 2022 to Cannonier, and he hasn't been perfect since then. He lost the 2 DDP fights, obviously, but I think since then he's kind of turned it up a little bit in what he's been able to do. And the last 2 fights might be his 2 best wins in certain ways. The Izzy one, I guess, two of his 3 best wins. How about that? These 2 terrible men were very respectful. Yes, they were. I was glad that there wasn't animosity post-fight, to be honest with you. Of 2-time champions, has anyone won their titles from 2 more different fighters than Sean did? Izzy, the pure striker, and Khamzat, the dominant wrestler? I'd have to look that up, but it's a good question. Because sometimes it's the same person, even if there's time apart. Like, for example, Shevchenko and Grasso. You know what I mean? Strickland slowly building one of the best middleweight resumes of all time. It's not perfect, but he's putting some jewels on that thing. Luke, Sean won. Trump gets a 3rd term. Okay. Are we excited about Strickland Imavov too? It's a good question. Are we excited about Strickland Imavov too? You know what, man? I'm never really all that excited about Sean Strickland fight weeks. Oops. I'm never that excited about Sean Strickland fight weeks, but I would be curious to see that one. I don't think it'd be the greatest middleweight fight of all time, but I wouldn't hate it either. You know, really enjoy the event. Do they run it back right away? No, I don't think so. Sean has 2 of the biggest upsets in UFC history, let alone title fight history on his resume. I'm not sure if he has 2 of the biggest upsets in UFC history. He was just a minus 400. Now that's a lot, but I do think in title fight history he might have 2 of the biggest, but not overall. Boo. I had Sean in the 2nd, 3rd, and 5th. Yep, you can do that. I didn't think the 5th was actually that hard to judge. I agree. I thought the 5th was clearly his. How close do you think the 5th was? No, I agree. I thought the 5th was definitely Sean's round for sure. Jab Merchants wins. I thought Sean did way less damage. I also thought that Chimaev did a little bit more, but it was too close to call. Super quick Google, but the only fights where a bigger dog won a belt are Pena, Serra, TJ Barao types. Sean did it twice. Absolutely outrageous. Yes, it is outrageous. Never statistically just should not happen. Welcome to the party, good sir. In his prime, Usman would have beat Khamzat. In a 5-round fight, yes. In a 5-round fight, yes. Sean is the biggest sleeper fighter of the last decade. No one would have thought he'd beat 2 generational talents to become a 2-time world champ. Just wow. His game doesn't look like it. Oh, they mean the guy who jabs and teeps, but he's got good takedown defense. We just jab. Yes, dude, that dude. He's putting more behind it now, and it's getting better results. In hindsight, 205 was a pipe dream for Chimaev. Strickland looked quite a bit bigger than him, both with the same height, but Sean was way thicker. I mean, Chimaev apparently wants to go down there tonight. I mean, I don't know what the fuck or go up there, I should say. Adam writes, probably the most underwhelming, consequential title fight of all time. This organization is so unserious. I mean, you're not exactly rooting for Boy Scouts up there, and that certainly makes it difficult. But while I don't think the fight was a barn burner, I do think that the fight was very, very helpful and interesting because of what we learned. Where does Imavov go from here? Probably to a title shot. He's going to get a title shot. Please go over that trip Amasov hit at the end of round 1. I've been training 2 years and never seen that. I have to go back and look. I cannot recall it off the top of my head, but I promised to do it on like Substack or something. I'll get to it. Such a wild fight. I was incredibly surprised by Sean's submission defense, especially in round 1. Khamzat's cardio also seems to have come a long way. I didn't think it came all. I thought it looked like shit tonight. I mean, he rebounded a little bit after round 2, but his cardio looked like ass after 2 rounds. All judges, Khamzat 1-4, 2-3, tied into the 5th. This felt more like Chimaev botching his title defense than Sean upsetting by his own skills. I know what you mean, but hold on. I wouldn't rank this high in the history of that weight class. I would. That doesn't mean he won't lose his next fight. You're right. It wasn't like Sean ever really kind of put it on him. He kind of just did death by 1,000 cuts to win, and it feels maybe a little bit to some unsatisfying. But the negation of all the things that Chimaev wanted to do is actually such a critical insight and ability that I rate it very highly. Colossal upset, Luke. Do you think Chimaev was injured? No, I think his weight cut was shit. I don't think he was injured. Probably one of the biggest upsets in MMA history. No, he was a minus 400 or plus 400. That's big. That's not like the biggest. Top 3, maybe top 5 or top 7. I don't think top 3. Kudos to dude, like Rousey. You got to understand something. Like Holm was like a well over like a plus 1,000 underdog. So you have to imagine like people who were like plus 700, plus 900 in various cases. Has anybody beaten a striker as elite as Izzy and a wrestler as elite as Khamzat in any weight class? That is a great question. Someone else was kind of hinting at it earlier. And again, with a game that is like, oh, it just jabs and teeps. Good takedown defense. Look what it can do. Look what it can do. You know what I mean? I really don't think he can beat Ankh. Am I crazy? Who? Chimaev? No, he's not beating Ankalaev. Get the fuck out of here. Shogun moment. Do you think Chimaev comes back and gets it easy? I mean, it's possible he could look better in a rematch, certainly. He wasn't that far away from winning it this time. 1 round away, but I don't know. I'll reserve judgment on that. It's a good question, because Shogun got robbed. Like Chimaev didn't get robbed. It was a close fight. Like under no fucking circumstance did Chimaev get robbed. So it's a little different because Shogun kind of came out with a vengeance after that. Strickland's the most boring, effective striker ever. That's not altogether unfair. I thought it was great to watch them respect each other with Khamzat wrapping the belt around Sean. For those I've shown MMA, they think it's ugly and brutal, but sometimes it's beautiful. They're right that it is mostly ugly and brutal. I want to be very clear about that. Is Sean's career incomparable in MMA? Is there a boxing analogy? That's a good question for BC. Somebody who got a title and then lost it and kind of got it back. Who's like kind of like a shit talker, or like some kind of like outsider, maybe like a Mayorga or something like that. I'm not sure. But yes, Sean's career is very unusual. Like those other names I mentioned. Oh, Aldo got slept by Conor, but then he fights Frankie and he gets it right back. You know what I mean? Or, Amanda Nunes, she had an off night against Pena, but then comes back and, beats her from a different stance. This is different. This guy had to go on kind of a journey and then kind of come back. That's a little different. Awful decision, honestly. 145 Chimaev, maybe 3. I don't have round 5 for Chimaev. I think it's 134. If there is any scorecard for Chimaev, it's 134. Sean defended to win. The UFC needs a US champ. The UFC does need a US champ. That's true. Volk 2 times. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. The fight at times felt like a sparring match. That's true. Bit disappointing. Neither side felt urgency to try to hurt the other guy. They had a hard time finding the right hand with the other guy. They tried. They just couldn't do it. That's the issue. Dana says the McGregor deal. Dana said no McGregor deal done yet. He is confident. He goes, but I was confident last year too. A very generous donation from Nick. Thank you very much. Based on the glove touch and respect shown, we all got worked up by the pre-fight antics. Listening to Ray Longo and MK, I felt something he felt. Strickland had confidence, indicating it could be his pace. Love you and MK. Strickland land over Weidman all-time middleweight? No. I don't know if I'd do that yet. Putting together consecutive title defenses is kind of important. Let's see what he can do. He has the opportunity. I'd say that. He has the opportunity. Just want to say thanks for all that you do. Thank you, sir. You've been my favorite MMA and now political commentator for a decade. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. While getting a black belt is a great feat, how did those second runs go for those fighters? Oh, getting a belt back. Excuse me. For most of them, at least pretty well. I mean, not all of them. Like Shevchenko got it back, and she's been off to the races. Jan got it back. We'll see. Aldo got it back, and he kept it for a good while longer. But Izzy got it back and then lost it immediately. It really all depends. Not rigged. It was a split decision and really close. Totally agree. No question about it. All right. What is this? Are we doing Groiper shit here? Christ is king if you're in the left versus right. Dummy verse. Get out. Okay. Pray for the very flawed Sean Strickland to use his platform to wake people up. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Could Strickland be in GOAT talks? No, he's not in GOAT talks. But he's in upper echelon talks for sure. Sean is one of the best middleweights of all time, in my opinion. He just beat the scariest man in the UFC. He did a special thing tonight. No question about it. Is Strickland the first to win a title, then lose it, get another shot and lose it, and then get a third shot and win it again? It's a good question. I do not know. I probably doubt it, but I honestly don't know. I don't know. Well, no. Because Couture had it, lost it, tried to get it back, lost it, and then had another fight and got another title, but didn't get the same title back, got a heavyweight title, right? So he had a rematch against Liddell, lost it, had a trilogy against Liddell, lost it, retired, came back, beat Sylvia. So it's not quite the same. You should interview Strickland. You would like him. I don't think he's for me. Don't forget the illustrious Carla Esparza. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are some 2-timers. You're like, what the fuck, Khamzat equals no gas. Sean style is trash, but gets the trophy. I wouldn't call it trash, but, limited. I'm such a Strickland hater, but I can't deny him. Crazy how he's able to outstrike Izzy and beat one-trick pony wrestler with a damn jab. Fucking wild. Who has been talking about the jab on this channel? Would you call this fight a technical thriller? Once again, a BC question, but I would say yes. Technical thriller, yes. Biggest takeaway, Khamzat has only himself to blame for losing this fight. I think that's true, dude. Why couldn't he? If he had better gas, don't you think he could have won this one? But whose fault is that? It's not Sean's. Did you see the report by Kareem that Khamzat had a 17-year-old kidnapped and held a secret wedding to make his second wife? Yes, it's not his report. He's repeating the report on Telegram of a dissident Chechen organization. And I trust Kareem completely, but even he says it's their report. Like I don't think he's sure either that dissident organization has gotten stuff wrong in the past. They're probably dealing with, who knows what the quality of the information is they're dealing with, but like, they are a real group. And the reason why they're a real group is because the Chechen government is called, they don't engage in any terrorism, but like just by virtue of what they publish, they've called them terrorists. And so they're a real group. It's not like who's this? Never heard of them. Like they're real, but I don't know what to make of that claim because the claim is so horrendous that if it were true, it's like I don't know how you could watch. I don't know if you could watch. I don't know if I could bring myself to watch Khamzat if that was true, and it well may be. But I guess I'm looking to see like what comes of that revelation. But certainly disturbing, to put it mildly. Khamzat threw the fight? No. I don't know. With the Vegas odds being so lopsided, round 1 and 2 were night and day. I think he just fucking gassed. Is Sean the Eli Manning of the UFC? Whoa. That's a great comparison where he's not, he's not Tom Brady. He's not Aaron Rodgers, but he got the 2 fucking rings over them. Yeah, and he did it by beating the Patriots. Yeah, he might be. That's a great one. The Eli Manning. That's a great one. Luciana says, Brazilian in the house. Thank you. I couldn't watch the fight tonight. Thank you for the donation. I really appreciate it. Volk, Valentina, Izzy, Poetan, Sean. Does not seem that rare to regain the title. All recent. Do you hear yourself talking? Volk, all-time best featherweight. Valentina, all-time best flyweight. Izzy, second best middleweight. Poetan, arguably, if he wins this title at heavyweight, maybe they're the best ever. And now Sean. Yeah, bro, I think you got to be real fucking special to do it. Thanks. Sean also took out 185's number 1 contender along the way. Yep, stopped him, as a matter of fact. Danny from Ireland here. Thank you for all your content over the years. Did you manage to catch the Wardley and Dubois fight earlier? I saw the highlights. Also, are you looking forward to the new Converge album? I haven't even given it 2 seconds of thought, but it's a good question. The Wardley and Dubois fight is one of the most insane things you'll ever see. How Wardley never went down is beyond me, but Dubois got it done. Insane. Why exactly is Sean's jab so hard to counter? Elite strikers, grapplers, wrestlers, all consistently struggling against it despite so much tape. He's hard to counter with it. Have you noticed how when do you see him jab and get countered? He's either feinting you into like doing this and then splitting your guard, or he does it and then pulls, or he waits for you to go and then he goes. So he just sets it up where the counter scenarios are difficult, and then he just starts getting in a rhythm and he starts pressing you with it. And now he's off to the races. He's very hard to counter. It's very hard to counter him. You got to be real clever with that. C-Shank just out here gifting memberships like a mensch. Interesting that even Khamzat's corner was giving encouragement and strategy about striking in between rounds rather than anything about wrestling. That tells you a lot, I think, about his prep for this one or how that weight cut went. That's a great observation. Thank you. Sean's got to be top 5 MMA spoiler all time. Yes, he might be. Yes. To do it once and then twice, yes. Yes, he might be. Ahmad, thank you. Colt, thank you. Just look at Sean's face at the end of round 3 and tell me he won that round. I didn't think I thought he got pressed by the jab, but it's a debate. Thoughts on Strickland's Philly shell? It's not really a Philly shell. Philly shell is a bladed stance. He doesn't really blade. Between James Toney, Bernard Hopkins, and Floyd Mayweather, who do you think had the best Philly shell? The best one would probably be James Toney, but all 3 had an excellent one. If this is it for Khamzat, what's his legacy? It's not going to be it. Will he ever be a fighter? Will he be a fighter? Will he be a fighter lost in memory? No. His future feels bleak given how captive he is to powerful influences. I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is he might be getting figured out here a little bit. And not everyone's going to have the ability to get through that, but like the elite ones, we'll see. LT, in honor of you and MK, I'm seeing Mortal Kombat 2 tomorrow. Flawless victory, Donkstream. Continue your fatality of the far right. Enjoy the movie, friends. Enjoy the movie. Khamzat wrestled in the first, second, and fifth and struck in the third and fourth. Sean mixed great striking, great takedown defense. This is true mixed martial arts. Not high-octane mixed martial arts, but definitely mixed martial arts. I would agree with that. Sean Strickland got his... Dude, he's not for me, but that's not what that was. Come on now. Islam moving up, the only exciting thing for that division now to 85? Who's interested in DDP or Imavov rematch? I mean, it is what it is. Sean's going to be a pretty big star coming off of this, or who is next for Sean? Imavov. He's going to be a big name for UFC after this, dude. This is a big fucking win, man. You know, I'm not saying he's a star is born tonight, but he's going to be a big deal. Always appreciate your candor and convictions, Luke. Been an ardent listener for years. Thank you. Thanks for your contributions. And what the fuck happened? Just woke up. MMA, brother. Strickland is like Tim Duncan. Nothing flashy, but has good fundamentals and is extremely effective. Keep it to go. I like that. Tim Duncan, kind of Tim Duncan-ish, Eli Manning-ish. Volk, 2-time champion, I mean. Yeah. Oh, yes. He would exactly put him on that list as well. Yes. Do you think Jim Miller will end up in the Hall of Fame? On some level, I'm sure they'll find a way. Yes. Cerrone is in there, and Miller is a legend, and I think has the most fights in UFC history. Has the most wins too. Yes. You've ignored my chats for a while, but Sean bested a pinnacle of... I'm not ignoring anyone's. What the fuck are we talking about? But Sean bested a pinnacle of striking and grappling now with Khamzat. He might be a GOAT. He's not a GOAT. However, he's damn good. Damn good. A great jab and good takedown defense is so undervalued. Look what you can do with it. 2 UFC titles with that thing. I'm only buying this to say thanks for the content, Luke, and that Eli comment was 10 out of 10. Well done, donks. Yes, indeed. I agree. All right, just making Khamzat work in the grappling section made him worry about his gas tank and pace differently, in my opinion. Love the content. Totally. Shutting that down was crucial. It made him rethink it. Is Sean Strickland America's Bisping? No. Bisping defended his title, but he didn't lose it and get it back. That's different. Is a DDP level of takedown defense unstoppable? Wait, is a DDP this level of takedown defense? I don't know what that means. All right, we got one more thing here. Hold on. Armin Saryukian is the official backup for Topuria Gaethje. I think we kind of knew that. And that's it. All right. What a week. I'll have more coverage tomorrow. It's Mother's Day. Take care of your moms. Take care of your wives if they're the mothers of your children. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care of yourselves. Have a good night. Have a good Mother's Day. For all of you like me who your moms may have passed on, you know that you have my greatest sympathies, but tomorrow can be a good day just the same. It's a time to honor all moms, past, present, and future. Well, maybe not future, but certainly past and present. In any event, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Have a great night. I'm out of here. And until next time, get some sleep. Bye.